the tools you need to avoid a holiday debt hangover. I can't help you with the other kind of hangover, but we can when it comes to money. And if you've already spent too much, do not worry. We're going to share some tips to get you back on track. And later in our show, two moms will share their secrets for getting their kids dream gifts without buying a single thing. It is true. You're not going to believe it, but it is true. An Etsy trend expert, Diana Isom-Johnson, is here with a great gift idea that will not break the bank. But first, we got to start with the money rules. These are the words, the terms you need to know to get through this holiday season responsibly. Let's start with credit. What does it mean? It is not just a piece of plastic in your wallet. It is your ability to borrow money with the expectation that you're going to pay it back. During the holidays, credit cards can be a big draw for shoppers, but it's also how we overspend. We cannot forget that the key part of the definition is that you have to pay it back. You need to use your credit cards to your advantage, but you have to remember that you risk hurting your credit score and your overall financial health if you do not pay them back on time and in full. Next, this is a really important one, interest. If you are buying stuff with anything other than credit, i.e. like your credit cards, lenders are likely going to charge you a percentage of your purchase. You need to know exactly how much it's going to cost you to borrow that money. That includes credit cards and those trendy things that you want to buy, things you want to buy now. Oh my goodness, I found something on a flash sale. Pay attention. Just because it's on sale doesn't mean it's a good deal if you're going to be paying a huge amount in interest over the next few months. And finally, plan, plan, plan. I know you don't want to. We all love walking into a mall, checking out all those kiosks, but then we end up swiping, and overspending. We all do it. But take a deep breath. Make a plan that includes what you're buying, who you're buying it for, where you're getting it from, and most importantly, how you're going to pay for it. And speaking of planning, did you know that nearly 1 in 3 Americans expect to take on debt this holiday season? They gain weight and they gain debt. Nobody likes that. According to a survey from Credit Karma, Connecticut mom Crystal Terry, she's one of those very people. I want you to watch her story.
A typical holiday season for me is celebrating with my family. Looking forward to definitely Thanksgiving, because then 2 weeks later, I have my son's birthday. It's a busy couple of months for us, but I'm super pumped about it. I'm Crystal Terry. I live in Connecticut. I work in the financial services industry. I have an adorable 5-year-old serial son named Casey, and my husband Tucker. We definitely tend to enjoy the holiday season for sure. Maybe a little too much sometimes. I don't want to feel like I am penny pitching when it comes to gifts for my family and friends, or just things that we want to get for around the house. But I also want to be cautious and walk away not thinking, oh my gosh, we spent so much money, now we have to dig ourselves out of a debt hole to save again. Mostly for my son. If I see something I think he'll like, I just get it. So I don't really have a number of how many gifts he gets. He's a happy little boy on Christmas, that's for sure. But in regards to my immediate family, that adds up. And 2 years ago, we tried to do Secret Santa. You have a cap on their gift, which was great because you had a budget. But a lot of times people still went outside of that budget, like myself. And then last year, we went back to the traditional, everybody just buys stuff for everybody. We like to stay around $100 a person. Most times we go over that, but that still obviously quickly adds up to $1,000 if we have 10 people. And that's the core group, not counting teachers, gifts, and friends. And we try to, at least a couple of months in advance, put money aside for the holidays. Sometimes that's spent a little bit beforehand on other things. I've done installments or, the different pay plans to kind of stretch things out if need be. I did that a little bit last year. Those were good and bad because, at the time you feel like, oh, great, you're not spending as much during the holidays, but then, it's still ongoing months and months after Christmas. I lost my father. He was my best friend. And we've lost a couple of people that have been close to us. So it's now, we make a conscious effort to kind of see more people because you never know what's going to happen in the future. And the holiday times are a great way to do that. My husband loves to cook, but we also do like to host and make it a fun time and not skimp on things when hosting. So that could easily add up, especially with prices going up now this year. It's super easy to go out of your budget. I could budget, $100 or $200 and I come home with $500 of things because I am more of an impulsive type. There are times we spent about $500, especially on larger, holiday gatherings, because you have not only the menu that you're planning with the food, you have the drinks, which are very expensive. And when you like to host, our friends like to have some cocktails and some wines, like to have nice decor and go along with the holiday theme. And here and there you pick up things, but that adds up quickly too. So just excited to get with family and friends. And I want to be conscious of my spending because we do want to try eventually and save up to buy a house.
We all want to have a lot of joy over the holiday, but Crystal, we are here to help you. More joy doesn't have to mean more spending. We're going to get strategic. We're going to solve for this. Coming up next, Crystal and retail whiz Kristen McGrath from Retail Me Not join us, and we're going to give Crystal a holiday shopping strategy that you will not want to miss. And later in the show, just imagine this, getting your holiday presents and decorations for free. We're going to introduce you to a community where you can do exactly that. On the Money Holiday Handbook returns right after the break.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, right? 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news. 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses. By the hand delivered.
All right, it just me too. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today.
Let's go!
International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to On the Money Holiday Handbook. It is easy to spend too much money during the holidays. And this year, with rising prices and supply chain issues, it is more important than ever to have strategies in place before you start your shopping. I want to bring in Kristen McGrath. She's the editor at Retail Me Not, and she's got some great ideas to control some of that holiday spending. And Crystal Terry is also back with us. Hello to both of you. Crystal, first of all, I want to go to your house for Christmas. I want your husband's cooking. I would like you to buy my children all of their gifts. You are a Christmas goddess. You put on an unbelievable spread, but help us understand what goes on behind that, because you definitely have some challenges when it comes to spending. Do you have a plan of attack yet?
Well, I hopefully would like to stay within a budget this year, but also make sure that the gifts that I give everybody are thoughtful and everybody feels just as special. So that's one of the challenges that I'm going to be facing this year because, like I mentioned before, I typically overspend. So
I often say, especially as it relates to when we go out for the holidays, go on a cash diet. Bring whatever cash you have, and then at the end of that time at the mall, when your wallet's empty, it's time to go home. But especially now that we're doing more and more online shopping, we are using credit cards. And we're now seeing these buy now, pay later options. Can you explain what this is and some tips around it?
Sure. We've seen a proliferation of these buy now, pay later apps and programs. And so what they essentially allow you to do is make a purchase and then break that payment up over installments. Terms vary by program. But really, in the moment, the money's a little less real because you're able to defer the costs and spread them out over time so it can be really easy to lose track.
Okay, but what's the risk? Because unlike a credit card, if you don't pay on time, you could really get hit.
Right. These buy now, pay later programs have different terms. Some of them charge you late fees if you miss a payment. Some of them do have interest involved. And, it's just like any form of credit. If you completely miss the boat and just stop paying, you can end up dealing with a collections agency, which hurts your credit in the long run.
And it's horrible to have to deal with that. So we have a few weeks before Christmas. Many of us haven't started our holiday shopping. What are some tips you have to help us stay on budget?
Right. So I really liked what Crystal had said about thinking about putting money aside in advance. So if you have a number, you know how much money you have in the bank. That's the most important step. And from there, you need to make a really detailed, itemized list. I like to do it the old-fashioned way, pen to paper. Come up with a spending limit for each person on your list and really itemize it. Everything from gifts to what you need to get the teacher, to what you need to get those dogs, to what you need to spend on the holiday meal. So you come up with a holistic number, itemized spending for each category, so that you know how much you have, and you know it's hard to still not go over, but at least you're thinking about it deliberately in advance.
We also need to prioritize our lists, but when we go to the stores and we see signs that say lowest price of the season, we often think it's on sale, let me jump on that. How important is it to research price history, right? Because just because something is on sale right now, if we look back a year from now, it may have been half the price.
Right. You need to arm yourself with as much information as possible. So when you're making that list, especially when it comes to gifts, look exactly at what gifts you want to get and start looking up those items. Start seeing what the full price is. Use a price history tool. I like the one called Camel that lets you see over the past year what that item's been offered at. So that in the moment, when you're seeing lowest price ever, you actually know if that's true and if you should jump on it. Because if you don't go in with a plan and with knowledge, the holiday hype machine is going to give you a game plan, and it's not going to be a budget-friendly one.
Okay, impulse shopping, though, that's what hurts me. When I'm at the store, I've got my list, I have an item in mind, and they're out of it. That's when I start looking around. That's when, let's say, I'm near the counter or I'm walking by a kiosk in a mall, and there's as seen on TV, as seen on TikTok, and the next thing you know, I've spent hundreds of dollars. How do we manage our impulse shopping? Those are the budget busters.
Right. And that's going to be extra hard this year because of the supply chain issues. The thing you might have planned to buy is going to be sold out. And then what do you do in the moment? So I like to shop online for that very reason. I mean, it might seem like online shopping is almost too easy, but it gives you the option of, oh, the thing is sold out on one website. Let me check Walmart. Let me check Target. Let me check Amazon. They might have it. So you can still get that item. It's also handy to have when you're making that budget some backup options too, so that you're not flailing trying to find some gift, any gift, okay, here's my first choice, second choice, third choice, and they're all in my budget.
Crystal, what do you most want to know?
Is it, do you think it's best to buy things now or wait for the typical Black Friday sales where everybody's going crazy?
Right. It's so confusing this year because retailers are starting to offer Black Friday sales earlier than ever. And I think right now it is smart, especially if there's a very popular item on your list or a big ticket item, it's smart to buy it now. If you've done your price research, you'll know a good deal when you see it. You can feel good about checking it off your list. And then Black Friday and Cyber Monday can be the final round where you scratch everything else off your list, maybe pick up some holiday necessities. But I would say to avoid the stress, avoid the impulse buys, and avoid too much hype, I think it's smart and strategic to start looking for deals now, and retailers are certainly offering them.
So I just want to stay on that. So for those of us, I'm going to say I love shopping. I love retail. Is the best way to manage our shopping, do it early online, and then if we decide to venture out to the mall around Black Friday sales, we're just getting the odds and ends, not the big stuff?
Sure. And, I'm a big fan of some of those boring Black Friday buys. I mean, there's great deals on towels, pressure cookers, a lot of things you might need for the holidays and hosting. So if you really like the in-store Black Friday fun, save it for those items that aren't going to break the bank, but that you can save big on if you actually need them.
I like to go old school, the real sales, the day after Christmas. That's not really in the holiday spirit, though. Crystal, thank you both so much. I really appreciate you joining us. We're going to leave it there. But coming up next on our holiday handbook, we're going to show you 2 ways to find the hottest gifts for the season. 2 moms will show you how to buy nothing. And Etsy trend editor Dana Isom-Johnson will stop by to share some must-have gifts for the holiday season. We'll be right back.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready? Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Let's go. We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the Eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, I know, right? Yeah, 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the Banner delivery.
All right, it just me too.
Welcome back to On the Money Holiday Handbook. Money is tight for many this holiday season, and even with Santa's help, it can be really stressful to buy presents for the people that you love. But what if you could get your Christmas gifts from your neighbors all for free? You actually can do this with Buy Nothing, an online community created to help people buy less and share more.
I am Sarah Riblon, and I'm an admin of our local Buy Nothing group. I live in Plainfield, Illinois, with my husband, my 8-year-old daughter, and my dog.
Hi, I'm Sophie, mother of 2 kids from North Carolina, and I'm a member of Buy Nothing for 2 years. Buy Nothing is an online global community where people give and take stuff with their neighbors.
I have done most of my Christmas shopping on the Buy Nothing page. There are so many things people post, especially around this time of year. Some groups do something called Buy Nothing Black Friday. On Black Friday, instead of running out to all the stores, you sit at home in your pajamas and scroll the page, and people are posting and posting and posting gifts. My daughter, for Christmas, her largest gift from Santa has come from Buy Nothing the last few years. One time she got an American Girl dollhouse. The best part of that gift was we didn't have to put it together. Might have saved my marriage. It stands 4 feet tall, 3 or 4 feet wide. I'm sure it was a lot of money, and we got it for absolutely free. One year she wanted a hot cocoa machine. I decided to put it out on Buy Nothing, and someone said, "Hey, I have a Keurig. Can you use that?" And I said, "Well, of course, that's awesome." And she was over the moon.
I am planning to use Buy Nothing for Christmas for gifting things and for Christmas decoration that I can have new ones and give away my old ones. I asked Pokemon cards, and I received 2 bags full of Pokemon cards for my daughter. She's really happy about it, and when she's done with Pokemon cards, I can always post and say, "Hey, I have tons of Pokemon cards and I'm ready to give it for free."
It's really just neighbors helping neighbors. And when you give on Buy Nothing, you see who received it, and they will post a picture of their child opening this gift, and you see the joy that it brings them, and it just wants you to give more and more and more. The benefits go beyond that in reducing consumerism and the stress of the holidays. It's out. You know, you're shopping from your couch, and then the carbon footprint of manufacturing goods, getting them to places, and the shipping concerns this year, being worried that you might not even get what you're looking for. I've gifted clothes that my daughter's grown out of. I've gifted toys. I've gifted a television. The amount of giving is really endless.
This is absolutely amazing. I just cleaned out my basement. I've got a barely used Easy Bake oven and a bunch of Christmas decorations I don't use anymore. I'm about to join this community. That is awesome. I know another big trend this season and over the last few years has been all about shopping small, shopping local. Many holiday shoppers are turning to their local small businesses, not just because they want to support their mom and pop shop, but because they're very worried about shipping delays, all these supply chain issues. So I want to bring in our friend and small business expert, Etsy trend expert, Dana Isom Johnson. Dana, I'm so glad you're with us. I want to get to the trends of the season, but I do want to start with how do you help people manage, right? We're not even into December yet. I don't normally think about holiday shopping, and now I'm panicked, worrying about shipping delays, supply chain issues. What can we do?
You got to start right now. It's all about starting early and really getting a head start because you want to beat those potential shipping delays. And like you said, now is a better time than ever to really support those local businesses because these local businesses are not faced with the same disruptions that those big box retailers are in terms of bringing in materials and manufacturing those goods.
All right, well then let's talk trends. When I think about Etsy and last year, it feels like the biggest trend were mask sellers. People aren't necessarily buying masks for one another this Christmas and Hanukkah, but what are they buying?
Yeah, okay, so let's kick it off with one of the hottest trends, which is all about an expanded color palette. So you're going to see a lot of items, whether Christmas decor, holiday decor, or gifts that have these neons or pastels or outside the box colors of those traditional colors. On Etsy, we saw a 47% increase in searches for neons, pastels, or jewel tone colors. So with you in the studio, you have really beautiful pots. And one thing to keep in mind
planters,
is that all of
I
these
love them. I want to say I love them. They're mega bright. They're a little bit pricey, though. How do you stretch the cost?
Well, here's a trick. So that set of pots is a set of 3 for $80. So my tip to you is to make each of those pots an individual gift. Just add the greenery. Everyone loves a splash of greenery. That was another major trend, creating a plant oasis in your home. And everyone loves to receive that. So turn that into 3 gifts.
I love that. I also love that it is a potted plant because when someone comes to my home with cut flowers, they're beautiful. But the next thing you know, then I'm scrambling around my attic looking for a vase and it's a big mess. I want to talk about these crayons because, listen, any kid anywhere loves crayons. These ones are pretty amazing. Talk to us about them.
Oh, these are so wonderful, and they align with that bright color trend as well. Now, what's so great about these is that they can be personalized. So you're going to work directly with the maker, get the name spelled out exactly how you want. You're increasing and hopefully encouraging creativity in children and asking them to put the screen aside for a bit and jump up that creativity.
All right. I am not the greatest artist out there. I'm not a super crafter. However, during COVID, DIY kits, crafting became a really big thing for my family. It's a way we would all do things together. We would even do the same crafts. We'd get the same kits with my sister's family and do it over Zoom. You've got some great ones this season.
Exactly. And so this is continuing to be a very popular trend. Get this number, a 1,056% increase in searches for DIY kits. So this is a really wonderful way to bring the family together and do exactly like what you talked about. Do it together. So whether you're doing paint your own ornaments or earring sets, whatever it may be, again, it's about spending that quality time together for the holiday season.
Something that makes people always feel special is if you put a lot of effort in, and that comes with getting personalized gift. We've seen different ways people can personalize a necklace, like with their child's name, but you found one that has a new take on the tradition.
Absolutely. So this is a fresh take on that traditional name bar necklace. Now, a lot of sellers we're seeing will engrave the name throughout the entire necklace. So you can get 3 different names. And again, it is the best because it is the ultimate level of personalization. Of course, you're adding the name, but then you're also choosing the finish, whether that be rose gold, gold, silver, and then you're also selecting the necklace length. So you're really customizing at every step.
All right. You also found a way to honor the most special member of a family, the family pet.
Absolutely. So we saw so many people bring in fur babies into their homes over the pandemic. And so getting a custom portrait made is the absolute best way to add them to the family or gift to a family member who recently added this special member to their family. Now, here's what makes this item so
It looks
great.
to me that that special family member on your right might be the cutest dog I've ever seen. Can we see that one?
Well, you know what? You may be a little biased because
I may be. That, in fact, is Skipper Dipper, my own family dog.
That's right. That's right. Here's what's great about this item, though. It's what I call a printable. So you're going to work directly with the maker, send them an image of the pet. They're going to create that custom drawing. And then guess what? You don't even have to leave your home. You're going to print it right from your home, and then you can frame it and hang it right from the comfort of your home.
My goodness, that could be hanging above the fireplace by Christmas Eve. Dana, thank you so much. You definitely got us more prepared, a little smarter, and definitely more excited for shopping this holiday season. I appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
You too. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at the headlines that are impacting your wallet. That's right after this.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Joe Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts. This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late breaking news.
All right,
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to On the Money. Here's the news you need to know from the business world and what it means for your wallet. To keep up with all the holiday shopping madness, companies are rushing to find workers to keep up with higher demand this season. The National Retail Federation expects retailers will be hiring between 500,000 and 665,000 seasonal workers just to keep the shelves stocked. Mail carriers, UPS, FedEx, and the Postal Service, they're adding a combined 230,000 workers to keep packages moving this year. Employers are also offering higher pay, benefits, and even hundreds of thousands of dollars in signing bonuses to entice workers onto their payroll. So if you've got some extra time, you might want to think about a seasonal job. And this one is majorly important. Open enrollment. It's underway for 2022 insurance coverage. So if you're looking for health care next year, if you want to change it, now is the time to check with your employer or register via healthcare.gov. And if you still have money left in your FSA, that's your flexible spending account, you need to focus on that now, because at the end of the year, you will lose it. Figure out what you still need. Is it glasses? Is it pharmacy items? Buy it now before the end of the year. Use it or lose it. That is it for our holiday handbook. I'm Stephanie Rule. Thank you so much for joining us. For more holiday advice, from shopping deals to recipes and tips for gathering safely this year, go to today.com/holiday handbook. I'll see you again soon.
So from what I understand, you didn't set out, if you will, to write a memoir, but your life story, I've heard that it seemed to pour out of you. Is that true?
Well, I wanted to write a bunch of policy papers on how to enable a system to help young families balance work and family. That's really where I started. But people said that's too dry. Nobody's going to read policy papers unless you inform it with your life. And so this book is a memoir, but it's really telling the story of my life to derive the lessons that would lead to the moonshot, which is how to create a support structure to help young family builders balance work and life.
Let's take it a step at a time. You talk about your story. It begins in India, and you paint such a vivid picture of your childhood.
It was surreal almost, because I felt like I was back home, in my ancestral home. When we talked about the swing, I felt like I was sitting there. I could feel the wind, the whoosh. And I almost woke up and said, Grandpa's calling me.
You also talk about the prioritizing of education. Talk to me a little bit about that and how important it was.
Everything was about education. As long as you got good grades, you were given freedom to do other things. But grades were paramount. You had to do well in school, because the belief was a good education is the foundation for your future. And that was a non-negotiable item. Homework came first when you came home from school. And report cards were checked. All your schoolwork was checked down to what mistakes did you make. I mean, why did you get a dictation test wrong? You had to rewrite the words, 25, 30 times. So it was a maniacal focus on education. And my grandfather took it upon himself to be the teacher, the guide, the mentor, everything. He was the constant force in our life.
How did they balance the cultural tug of war of making sure as a woman you were going to eventually find someone to get married, or your domestic duties versus education and academics and career? Was there a tug of war, or was it a tap dance, if you will?
Kind of, one foot on the brake, one foot on the accelerator. My family believed that girls should soar and dream as much as the boys. So there should be no difference between the girls and the boys. So it was interesting that our family felt that way. And remember, I was born 8 years after India got independence. India was under British rule for 350 years. The British occupied India. They left in 1947. I was born in 1955. So it was the early years of India. India was trying to figure out what kind of a country it was going to be. And women were just emerging on the scene. I was among the early group of women to go to college, to go into business school. So it was like frame breaking in so many ways. And in my family, it was like, let the girls dream. Do not hold them back. That's what my father and my grandfather would say, and my mother too. On the other hand, she'll say, I'm going to find you a guy at 18 and get you married off, because society expected that. So she had the foot on the brake and a foot on the accelerator. And that's the environment we grew up under, but we knew that my grandfather and my father would never allow us to be married early unless we wanted to get married. And they would make sure that if we wanted to study more work, they would give us the support, which is what the men in our family did.
So that certainly wasn't typical in all families. How grateful are you that you had that type of support?
In those days, you didn't think of gratitude, because you just said, hey, we're daughters, we can do whatever we want. In retrospect, I'm in awe of what my grandfather and my father and my mother, to a large extent, because she was part of the society, right? She could have been absolutely vilified and said, how can you allow your daughters to go work? She just said, no, that's what they want to do, let them go do it. They want to study, let them study. She never held us back.
So if we were to fast forward to when you started climbing the corporate ladder at a time where you probably didn't see a lot of faces that looked like yours, you are a woman, an immigrant, a person of color. What was it like sometimes in those boardrooms, or when you were sitting at those tables when you didn't see faces that looked like you?
I was among the very, very early group of people to come into the corporate world. So I knew there wouldn't be too many people like me. As a woman, as an immigrant, person of color, in every which way I struck out. So it actually made me work harder and better, because I'd feel like I was in a hole every time I went into a meeting, that people are looking at me like she must not belong here. So I was in that hole in my mind, and I had to dig myself out of it and then earn a seat at the table. So I always came over-prepared. Had more of the material mastered to demonstrate my supreme competency. So in the first few meetings, I would quickly establish that I was a force to be reckoned with, that I deserved a seat at the table, if not at the head of the table. So unknowingly, the fact that my mind took me into a hole and digging out of it resulted in my performing better than anybody else around the table.
In your book, you talk about even just the journey to get to the corporate ladder, right? And all of the things you had to do and speaking up, even when people were speaking up, and trying to interrupt you. Then fast forward to when you were in the boardroom. Did you feel confident that you deserved a seat at the table and that you could, hang with the boys, so to speak?
Yes and no. It's like a duck that looks very calm on top, but underneath you're rowing.
Yeah.
So you feel like, man, I've arrived. You look around and you go, I'm sitting at the head of the table. Inside you've got butterflies. Because when you reach the top, Chanel, you can be pushed off the top very fast. You've got to earn that position at the top every day. As a CEO, the world is looking at you. People want you to fail. More people want you to fail than they want to succeed, see you succeed. And so you're always a little bit uneasy. But after a while, you get your groove. And you say, you know what, I'm pretty damn good. And until you get that groove, which takes about 4 or 5 years into CEOship, you still have those butterflies in your stomach. In a way, I think those butterflies in the stomach are good because they keep you on your toes.
Before you got to that point where you said, you know what, I'm good, I can do this. Were there any specific stories? Are there any memories that stick out in your head that made you say, what was that?
I don't think I ever said I can be CEO at any point. I always was like, I don't know if I'm good enough to be CEO, or, let's not think about the CEO job. Let's talk about the job I'm doing exceedingly well. I think if I'd focused on the CEO job, I might have forgotten the job I had to do. And so I just focused on the job to do it better than anybody else could and just kept going that way. So when the call came to be CEO, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be it? Holy cow, I'm going to be in the center of attention and I have to deliver and this is my agenda now. How am I going to do it? I hope I have the ability, the courage, the confidence. You start to question a lot of things about yourself until you develop that sort of inner courage to face the world.
What is the secret to that inner courage?
You have to draw on your reserve of competence first. You cannot do these jobs unless you're supremely good at what you do, the subject matter. So that you have to always draw on that competence factor first. Once you have competence, courage and confidence comes quickly on top. And the thing that I was told by my outgoing CEO was, even if you're nervous and uncertain about something, don't show it. Because everybody's looking at you. Show courage, show confidence, show calm. And sit within the 4 walls of your office and think through and struggle with issues. But outwardly show calm, because there's too much riding on your courage, your calmness. So I learned those skills. The great thing is I had mentors who taught me all those things.
Were they all male mentors?
All males. But I was surrounded by them. But the amazing thing is they took it upon them to reach out, give me that advice, tell me I'm doing something wrong, give me experiences that otherwise I wouldn't have sought. So I owe them all an incredible debt of gratitude.
What do you think it was about your work ethic or about you that led a lot of those men back in the day, if you will, to support you and help propel you in your career?
I never, ever was given a job that I didn't deliver. I was about the most reliable person, and I would kill until I delivered for whoever I was working for. Second is, whoever I worked for had my undying loyalty. I never, ever, ever let them down on anything. And I always looked at the job through, how can I make their life better? How can I make their life easier? Because I know what the CEO job is like. I had a seat up front watching it. And so I do everything possible to make their life easy. And they saw that. They said that, look, I remember one example where I'd made prepared a presentation for the board, and I gave it to the CEO and said, here's the big presentation of the board. Could you look at it? He said, have you checked it? I said, yeah. He said, what am I going to find that's wrong? You've checked it through and through, so I don't want to see it. Take it away. But it showed a level of confidence in me, which I'd earned. Basically, he was saying, you always turn in a product that you check, recheck, triple check. And I think that's what made them want to mentor me. And in turn, they got my undying loyalty.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, you know, right? 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the Banner deliberative.
All right, it just me too.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
How old were your kids when you hit the peak of your career there and when you became CEO?
So when I became CEO, my kids were all young. One was a teenager going through difficult years, and the other was entering teenage years. So it was a difficult time, believe me. But the good thing is my office was 10 minutes from home, and the young one's school was 10 minutes from the office. So I lived in that triangular bubble, if you want to call it that.
Trust me, a lot of us can relate.
That made a huge difference, Chanel, because if there was a problem in school, I just ran out. I don't care what meeting I was in, I ran out. If my kids were not well at home, I went home during the day a couple of 3 times to just check on how they were and came back. So I lived in this bubble, physical bubble, if you want to call it that, between home, school, and office, and made a huge difference. Had I had to commute for an hour or 2, would have been a whole different problem.
I know so many women who feel like, okay, if I mastered my work today, then I feel like I failed at home. And if I was all in at home, I feel like I failed at work. And I feel like there are a lot of people who feel like they just can't balance it all.
It's a real challenge. And I do not even use the word balance anymore. It's like juggling. You just have to juggle everything. Even I feel like, not that I failed at home, I didn't do enough at home. And when I did a lot at home, I felt like, oh my God, I neglected something at work. So that tug and pull is a reality, and we have to live with it. I think the best you can do is to say, at the end of the day, I'm going to do the best I can for my family, the best I can for my job, and hope to God my spouse gets taken care of.
I know my husband's like, woohoo, I'm over here. Like,
That's
I'm
exactly
sorry,
what he says. Exactly. My husband always says, your list is PepsiCo, PepsiCo, PepsiCo. Then it's your kids, as if it's not his kids.
Yeah.
Then he says your mom. Somewhere at the bottom, there's me. And I go, see, just be happy you're on the list.
That's good, that's good. So was there a time, actually I know there was a time that really kind of pulled on my heartstrings, where your daughter, I guess she wrote you a letter. Take me back to that time.
I think she was about 4 or 5, and I still keep that letter in my desk. And the note goes, Mom, please come home. Please, please, please come home. I love you more if you came home. Please, 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 please. And she drew a cloud and some flowers and her looking up, waiting for me to come. Now, that's a reality, because there were times when we were doing transformations and acquisitions, I was working non-stop. I mean, I had Raj, my husband was at home, my mother was at home and on and off, my mother-in-law would come in to help. So we had family, but they wanted mommy.
So when you got that letter, I mean, it's cute now, but when you first got that letter from your daughter, did it just break your heart?
Break my heart's an understatement. So, my other daughter had a journal entry which said, waited at the window for mom to come home. It's now 10 o'clock. And, our babysitter says, I have to go to sleep, but I have something really, 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 really important to tell mommy. When I read those journal entries, I boo-hoo-hoo in my room, but that's reality, When you only have so many hours in the day and you're doing 4 or 5 full-time jobs, okay, it's hard. So there's some sort of juggling you have to do, and you do the best you can.
Would you have done anything differently?
I don't know. I'm wired a certain way. And to be honest, I studied a lot, I worked a lot, and I loved my jobs. I loved my family, I loved my husband, I loved my kids.
Did they understand that you were trailblazing at the time?
No.
Of course they didn't.
Of course not.
Of course they didn't.
They don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I was just looking at this when you joined PepsiCo in 1994. 15 of the top 15 executives were American men. Not one Fortune 500 company had a female CEO.
Yep.
We talked about the fact that you didn't fit the mold. You often had to stand up for yourself, kind of hold your ground, you know, as the only woman at the table. What was that like at the time?
The fact that I was different, I was used to it because all through my life up to that point, I was always the only woman in the room. And forget the fact that I was an immigrant and person of color, I was the only woman in the room. So I was used to that. It was a good environment to be a part of then, even though all of them, you know, looked the same, came from the same background. Remember, the ideal senior executive of those days looked like that. So there was no different in PepsiCo. But imagine what it looks like now. The face of PepsiCo has changed so much. We've come a long way.
It's so interesting because you say that you set out to, you know, almost like write policy papers, and now you're sharing, you know, very deep and personal things from your journey. Are you happy that you shared those things with us?
Partly uncomfortable, partly happy. It's not easy to write these stories because you're putting your life out for the whole world to read and talk about, right? And so in some ways it feels a little uncomfortable. So I had to really make sure my husband was okay with everything I was saying because he matters to me more than anything else. He read it, he suggested edits, he said, this chapter doesn't read well. He was a really good contributor. My kids have barely read it. They said, Mom, it should be fine. It should be fine, you know. What are you going to say that's new? We know what you're going to say. You've said it all. They're okay with it. But for me, even looking at the pictures, I'm like, oh God, this takes me back into my life in India, memory lane, my kids growing up. I look at my kids with these cheeks and I want to pinch them and hug them now. So I go through all of those feelings. But at the end of the day, it's a story worth telling.
And why did you want to tell it?
Because talking about what needs to be done to balance work and family and the support structure we need to build is more credible when you talk about the fact that I too went through those struggles. It's not that I was born with a support structure and it was me just sailing through life. I had to worry about all these issues. There were times I had to juggle. There were times where my kids, you know, looked at me and used me as a punching bag because I wasn't there. I've been through all of these issues. And so I understand what people are going through. The big blessing was, since I moved up in the corporate career, I had money to afford my own help. A lot of people today don't have it.
You were able to afford help, and you also had your mother.
That made a huge difference.
Yes.
Multi-generational living. Hey, there's problems with it. Don't think it's a cakewalk, okay? But on balance, it's a much better thing to have your parents with you. In my case, my mother and my in-laws helped so much.
How did she react to, I mean, this was new for her too, her daughter who was working so much and she was home. Did she ever pull you aside and say, what are you doing?
Now and then she'd say, just give up your job and just stay home. It's enough is enough. I told that to my kids one day. I said, you know, they said, Mom, you never come to school, you don't do this and you don't do that. I said, fine, I'll quit my job and I'll stay home and take care of you guys. It lasted about 10 seconds, that comment, and they go, Mom, you can't quit your job. You've worked so hard for it, Mom, one kid said. The other kid said, my older one said, you know, what I really need is two of you. One who's a mom at home and the other one who's the CEO or this executive so that, you know, somehow we can balance both. So they're very proud of their mom, but they also love their mom and want their mom.
I think you're right. I think it was more powerful before you talked about the importance of work-life balance and what needs to happen to make that a possibility for women around the country, around the globe, that you share your story. But now, is it realistic that we'll see change? I think we've heard people say this before. What has to change in order to make this a reality for so many women around the world?
I think the first thing we have to do is when we talk about future of work, especially post-pandemic and with all the technologies coming in, we have to just stop talking about technology and robotics and automation and start to talk about families, family builders, women. Think of the jobs of the future. They're knowledge economy and there are lots of caring jobs. For both we need women because the knowledge economy requires the smartest people. Women are 70% of the high school valedictorians. They graduate in college at 10 points higher than the men. They have a whole point of GPA that's better than the men in STEM degrees. They're getting 48% of STEM degrees, 30% of engineering degrees. We need these women in the workforce. We want to give them the choice to be in paid work. If they don't want to, that's their choice. But we want to give them the support structure so they can contribute to the betterment of the country. And I think people now are beginning to recognize that we are in a war for talent. And we need the best and the brightest, which means all the women who want to work, young family builders who want to be in paid work, we should enable it.
Well, it sounds like for you, making sure women are treated equally and fairly and paid and compensated, it's not just a moral thing to do, it just makes good business sense as well.
I think you have to think of it as an economist, not a feminist. This is about allocating the country's resources. It's about growing the country, growing the GDP. In a war for talent, if you don't use all the talent you have, you're crazy. And I think the time has come to start thinking in those terms as opposed to, oh God, there's another female issue. It's not a female issue, it's families. We need families. We need children for the future. We need the brightest people, which also includes women, to be deployed in paid work.
There are men and women who are just working so hard to get food on the table right now. They may be watching the story. They're so busy just trying to get through the day that they can't think about policy and laws and you know what I mean. So are you telling them that right now there are these brilliant minds around the country who are trying to figure out in their behalf how to let them find some kind of a balance or a better balance with work and family?
People are thinking about it, people are working through it. This is not a political issue, this is a human issue. And I'm saying that a lot of people are engaged on it. We now have to move from talk and thought to action and figure out how communities come together, how families come together, how we're going to take care of the aging people, teachers, nurses. How do we make sure they all come back to work? 2 million women dropped out of the workforce during the pandemic. We need almost all of them back in the workforce because those jobs need them.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late breaking news.
All right, it just is.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, I know, right? 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the Hammond deliberations.
All right, it just did too.
You're so passionate about this. You're almost out of your chair. I feel it. I could feel it when I read this book. Do you feel like that's your purpose, or what is your purpose?
Enabling young family builders to be able to build their families if they so choose to, but at the same time greasing the skids for women to engage in paid work if they so choose to, and not have to fight all the battles they have been fighting in the past.
Do you think, well, obviously it's getting a little better. You walk into the boardroom now, it looks a little more diverse, doesn't it? Or does it? I don't know.
It does.
I'm not in the room.
It does.
It does.
It's a whole lot different.
Are you encouraged by what you're seeing these days?
Extremely encouraged. So you're beginning to see the changing face of the boardroom. You're seeing better decisions as a consequence. It's not just a changing face. You're seeing better decisions, more innovation. You're seeing more discipline. So I think it's changing a lot of things in corporate America.
What would your message be to women in the next generation who are following in your footsteps and trying to balance work and family and a little bit of time for themselves and maybe a spouse?
I'm going to tell them it's a juggling act. I mean, if I try to downplay it, I'll be crazy. But I'm also going to tell them dream big. The economy needs you, needs your brains. And work with us to help you figure out how to balance, how to juggle work and family. How do we create the support structures to help you? Let's work together to figure this out. Because very often we've told young family builders, if you have kids, it's your problem. It's not your problem. You know, it's like when you have a kid, you're doing service to the country. You should get a letter which says, thank you for your service to the country. Think about that. You're producing the next generation of citizens and consumers for the country. So we have to say thank you to you, but thank you is not enough. A letter is not enough. What else are we going to do for you? And all that we're saying is, look, when a child turns 5, the state takes responsibility and says, we're going to help educate the child through the education system, 0 to 5. What can communities, families, to a certain extent the state, I'm not calling this a government program at all, how can we all come together to help the young family?
Let's fast forward 10 years. What changes do you see, or what are you hoping you see in the corporate world?
I think in the business world at large, government, corporate, small business, everything included, we have paid leave for every family, either for maternity, paternity care, and or sick leave care. We have a well-tuned system for flexibility or predictability of work hours. You can work remotely, you can come into work, and we won't discriminate against you because you work flexibly. And a beautifully set up childcare system between communities, families, state, whatever, whoever works together. The 3 parts of this care trifecta working together.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
I mean,
it's doable.
Is it doable?
It's doable.
In 10 years?
In 10 years, it's doable if you put our minds to it.
Is that the hope of this book?
That's the hope.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work, or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today.
Let's go. International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Last question, I talk about how vividly you paint the picture of your childhood in India. Do you think about those days, especially now that you were able to kind of pour your heart out into this book? Do you think of that little girl in India?
I think of the little girl in terms of how far she's come, and sometimes I pinch myself saying, how did it happen? Is it even possible?
What did she look like? If I saw her rushing down the street, little India, what did she look like?
She never walked, she only ran. She always smiled. She always smiled. And if she could walk in a straight line, she avoided it and went over a chair and a rock and everything and then went there. I mean, nothing was a hurdle for me. Nothing. If the boys climbed trees, I was going to climb trees. If I fell and broke my hand, it's tough luck, I broke my hand. Let's get on with it. Hurry up, let's get on. So it was one of these ultimate tomboys who just thought life was for enjoying.
And here she is sitting across from me.
Most people will agree that the table isn't truly set for this holiday without something green making its way onto the menu. But not just any green. We're not talking some stinking side salad. No. This green needs to hold its own texture, flavor. With that in mind, I asked one of my best friends and chef, his name, Marcus Samuelson, ring a bell? Oh, yes, it does. Restaurant owner, raconteur. He is bringing his A vegetable game. We're talking caramelized Brussels sprouts. Now, while everybody's used to Brussels sprouts at Thanksgiving, I mean, yeah, I got Marcus Samuelson here. And so he is bringing the flavor with greens and color and texture that is going to blow your mind. He is a true celebrity chef, stuff of legends here in New York after opening the famed Red Rooster restaurant in Harlem, and I am thrilled he is joining us today on Cooking Up a Storm. Marcus, thank you for being here.
Al, I'm so excited to be here, and I just love this new space. Like it's a podcast, but we're cooking on TV
it's
and
video,
sound
it's
and video,
everywhere.
it's everything.
That's right. And we can talk kind of like our FM.
Well, you got to
voice.
stay on the mic.
Stay on the mic.
Stay on the mic.
Stay on the mic. Don't drop the mic. Stay on the mic.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been a big fan of yours. You've been on the Today Show, gosh, for the last almost 2 decades. But this dish, when it came to creating something like this, what was your inspiration?
Well, I think, first of all, thank you for having me. Brussels is this type of thing that I think it came back, 10 years ago or so? And I grew up with a grandmother that taught me how to cook. She was amazing. I love Helga. But Brussels was not my thing. They were overcooked. They were soggy, never delicious.
Yeah, they stunk.
Yeah. Exactly. And now cook them like just slightly undercooked, just a little bit of crunch, right? And all we're doing with this was just adding great texture. So the pomegranate is there for texture and color. The peanuts that we're adding in, great texture. And then we're caramelizing it. For regular people like me with maple syrup, fancy people like you, you're getting your your fancy sugars from south
That's
of the
right.
border.
I've actually bred my own honeybees.
There you go.
And they're designer bees.
Yeah.
And that's where I get my honey. But tell me about this. One of the great parts of this is the texture. And we're talking, peanuts. But what if there's like a nut allergy?
Yeah.
Is there something
Great question. So I think understanding textures can come from many different places. So for example, a pumpkin seed, right? A sunflower seed would be great, things like that. And of course, if you want to be that guy, you can add bacon.
Yes,
because
I am that guy.
That guy.
I am that guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I like to come up about a pound of slab bacon and render it a little bit, and then finish it off when I'm roasting the Brussels.
And I think most of us are like that. We're really true flexitarians, right? We're not just one thing.
No.
So, but here's a total vegan recipe that is super delicious because with Thanksgiving, in your case, it could be a new family member, or it could be other people coming.
Somebody drops by unexpectedly.
Somebody drops by, and we don't know for religious reasons or for allergies or for whatever it is, right? So I like to have a couple of side dishes that everyone, and when I say everybody, everyone can eat it. When you do something vegan, majority of people can eat it.
Yeah. I think the other interesting thing about this dish is the predominant spice of Burberry.
Yes.
Now, what is that?
Great. So the Burberry is really, it's the same identity as I would say that mole has in Mexico, or let's say pasta has in Italy. It is one with the country of Ethiopia. Everyone has Burberry at the house, right? So Burberry is like smoked dried chilies with dried garlic, ginger. So it's this spice blend that has about 7 or 8 ingredients, and they sun dry, then you take them in, and then you blend them and sieve them and sell it on the market. And it's everywhere. So it's not spicy like cayenne.
Right.
It's more like a smoked paprika in terms of flavor.
It's subtler.
It is subtler, and you can use lots of it. With cayenne, you just kind of finish because it's very spicy.
Right.
This gives this kind of like, it's not taking over the dish. It's kind of like a hint, like Aleppo pepper, for example, right? It has that flavor.
Does Burberry differ from place to place? Like, do people do their own version of it?
Yes, and that's why I said it's about 7 to 8 ingredients, because when I say this is truly terroir, that's like, so in certain part of Ethiopia, it doesn't rain. Certain part, it does rain, so the sun drying changes. Sometimes you're up in the mountains of 3,000 feet, so it changes the flavor completely.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's really this sort of depth in flavor in terms of spice blend, and I love it. I just, it's part of, you're not Ethiopian if you're not eating berbere. That's simple as that. I'm taking the card.
Oh, there you go.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work, or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Joe Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Is that ready? Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker. My forecast, yummy. Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun.
Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
So here's the thing. We are a nation of immigrants.
Yes.
And all come together. And what brings us together on any given year is Thanksgiving. And I've always been fascinated by your story, because it is truly this marvelous story that happens in two different continents, ending up here. For folks who don't know, give us your background.
Well, I've been extremely lucky and blessed and fortunate to have loving parents, right? And that wasn't, me and my sister, we were born in Ethiopia, and my sister, my birth mother, and I, we had tuberculosis. So sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you can also be a blessing. My mom walked us into the hospital in Addis, and then eventually she passed away. And here's where luck and goodness of others comes in, right? Me and my sister got cured from TB after 3 months with 2 kids, 2 years old and 5 years old, nowhere to go. The nurse takes us into her house. She's like, nope, otherwise they're just going to get kicked out on the street. She takes us in, connects us with a Swedish adoption agency. That takes another 3 months. And, I go from being Kasahunsi guy to Marcus Samuelsson. 8 hours later, I'm on a plane, go to Stockholm, from Stockholm to Gothenburg, and I'm Marcus Samuelsson, met my new parents, and they raised me, and I've been extremely fortunate to have them in my life.
When I first met you, you were working at a restaurant, Aquavit.
Yes.
And you were talking about, and we met, and you were talking about your Swedish meatballs, and I mean, am I missing something here? This is your home dish? Wait, I'm confused.
Yeah.
So, and what I think has always been fascinating is that you have embraced all sides of your upbringing and your heritage and your cultures. And so I would think you have a very unique appreciation of Thanksgiving.
I love Thanksgiving, and I love that we come together as one to eat and celebrate. America has a rocky history like every country, but here's a week or a couple of days where, no, we're not Republican, we're not Democrats, we're not Southerners, we're Americans, and we're going to celebrate this day. And our past wasn't linear, our past was very complicated, but we're going to celebrate it around food. And we think about what we all been through, still going through the pandemic, right? It's a privilege to sit down with your family and extended family. It's a moment taking a brief pause and like, hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And it was maybe something pre-pandemic that we took for granted. And, last year taught me that I will never take it for granted again. And I appreciate my family and love my family, of course, but my extended family, just like you work with a big tribe at the show, they become family.
Yeah.
My restaurant family is also part of my family.
How difficult was this during the pandemic for that? Because you were able to keep things open and to keep things going, where and more has grown out of that that experience.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I started with fear. What's going to happen? And as a chef, part of it that everything that happens in your restaurant. You are the tribe leader. People sign up to work for you. Customers sign up, and so there's a certain level of you got to go through this. I didn't have a clue, Al. I didn't have a clue, but I had a community, and I called Jose Andres, and he said World Central Kitchen will be there. 2 days later, when we had to close Red Rooster, World Central Kitchen was there. They were there early and said, "We have masks, we have gloves, and we know how to serve through social distance safety as well." We started to serve 300 people again, first responder, homeless people, community. Eventually we started 500 people, then 1,500 people a day. And it transformed my life. I needed, just as much as we served, I also needed that security. Like, I got to get up in the morning, go over to work, make sure everything is okay. Because I worked with food and restaurants since I was 18 years old. I don't know anything else. And I was so afraid that this thing that I built and hundreds of people who work with me is going to be taken away. And I don't know myself as an adult without it. It truly raised me. Restaurant, food, people truly raised me.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go! International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work, or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go! International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts. This Thanksgiving, as we come together, and hopefully more and more people can do that, how is this Thanksgiving different for you than, say, ones in the past?
It's totally different because I think that you start seeing it's mixed baggage of news constantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're out of it. We're done. It's coming back. So you go in this back and forth state, and we all just want to put this behind us, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, there is not two sides of where we want to go.
Yeah.
But this humbles us, and we have to be restricted a little bit, and we're not used to that, especially as Americans, right? So it's a huge challenge for us. And I think about it as the restaurant, it might be open, it might not, because we don't know what's going to happen. Things that I totally took for granted before.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to take a minute and say, let's see what's going to happen. No matter what, I'm going to be supportive of my team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to invite in neighbors. We do that. Last year we did it on our block, but through FaceTime.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a version of that, whether we meet in the middle of the block or some come in, I don't know. But we're going to be a community, both in my home in Harlem, but also in my restaurant.
So Marcus, what are some of your first memories of Thanksgiving?
I have many early fun memories of Thanksgiving because when I came to this country, I worked in a Swedish restaurant, Aquavit, and we were closed during Thanksgiving. And it was one of these things that a lot of cooks, they don't come from New York City. So it's like, okay, I had an apartment with less roommates than they had, right? A little bit more space. So I'm like, all right, let's host it. So we cooked up the storm. And since people come from all over the world to work in New York City, right? So we had Indian curry on one table. I had the herring and the gravlax on Thanksgiving. The turkey was in the room, but it was way over there. And it was just so much fun to see the team outside the restaurant. And we told stories. And it was just one of my favorite days actually to celebrate.
It probably is really the true meaning of Thanksgiving.
Yep. That's fun.
Is Red Rooster going to be open for Thanksgiving?
Definitely be open, both in Miami and in Harlem. Absolutely.
Tell me about this in Miami. You're in a really historical neighborhood. It's not one that when people think about when they think about Miami.
When we had opportunity to expand Red Rooster to Miami, I said it needs to be in a predominantly historical African-American neighborhood. Why not the beach? Why not the Brickell? Well, I love all these places, but no, I wanted to do something that makes sense for us. So Overtown used to be called the Harlem of the South. And when I started to read this history, that's where Muhammad Ali stayed. That's where Miles Davis stayed. That's where Sam Cooke did one of his best albums. And so when I found this property and learned the history about it, I said, we have to renovate it. This is where we're going to put Red Rooster. It's right in front of Lyric Theater, which is kind of like the Apollo in Miami. And it's a beautiful restaurant. And we built it and opened it during COVID. It was a lot of start and stops. Like we were ready, and then we had to close. And then we were, but it's because the weather is, different there. Basically, the whole restaurant is basically on the patio because people sit outside.
It's perfect for COVID.
Yeah.
or anytime.
Yeah.
At that. So you've got your son is 5. You've had a few Thanksgivings now as a family. Is there a family tradition of Thanksgiving that you guys do year after year?
We cook a lot, and then we have a couple of people that we give out the food to in our neighborhood that are home insecure. And we also have a tradition of donating toys because we got too many.
During this time, it started up Black Business Matters Matching Fund. Tell me about that.
You and I have both been extremely fortunate to do what we love and have a career on it, but we're not the majority of people that look like us. And we know that 41% of all Black and brown businesses in all fields closed during COVID, and they're not coming back. So the access, for me, it was really important. Like, what can we do, right? What can my team do? Who can I partner with? So it was important to start a fund where we can not give out loans to small businesses because they don't need more loans.
Yeah.
It's really grants, and we give out grants to small businesses across the country. And I don't even like the term small business because for that family, it's their only business. Exactly. So we gave out grants across the country to Black and brown businesses. And as I started to travel again. Every now and then, like some guy or some lady runs after me and say, hey, I just want to say thank you. We got $8,000 from you. I said, you didn't get it from me. You earned it way before. We were able to help 200 businesses across the country and giving them that break, that $18,000, that $8,000, that $3,000. And it was carried them through to the next break. And that's what we need. I'm a guy that got lucky breaks and on many levels, both in my personal life, but also obviously in my business life. And anytime I can do that and extend that, one of the things that I take the most joy from, actually.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Only a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, right? 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the Hammond deliberations.
All right, it just did too.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
I love my grandmother, but the way she cooked Brussels was no good.
All right,
so I love this idea of that we got to get the sounds right. So we're gonna. Did you hear that?
Oh, I heard that. It's
garlic time.
Boom.
And these Brussels are great because you just take the bottom off a little bit like this, and then you take off those leaves back here. And what's great about this is that you can do this with a family. You know, because you cook with your kids.
I do. My boy Nick and I during the pandemic, that's all we were doing. You know, one of the other things I've discovered quite by accident, with the Brussels sprouts leaves, I kind of wash them off, and I'll sometimes just roast it, a little olive oil, and just roast those.
They are
Make Brussels sprout chips.
Exactly.
Now you're stripping down some rosemary.
And I'm just gonna chop it up.
Now you sliced up some of the garlic.
Yes.
And you could add or subtract as you like. I like a lot of garlic.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of salt, and you know this, Al, but the whole thing with salt is make sure your hands are dry, not wet, and start here.
Start high?
Start high.
And then come down?
Go down.
Okay.
And then just make sure, because the salt is really like the thing that can make something from good to great. This is not salt. This
Now, what
comes
is
from my home
this?
country. This is like the clothes that you buy. This is expensive Burberry clothes that you got buy.
Yes, the Burberry?
This is Burberry from Ethiopia.
Ah.
This is so
I love the
delicious.
smell of that.
Right?
That's crazy.
When
man.
you smell this, and when you get to Ethiopia, this is sort of what everyone has in the household. Okay? So we're gonna toss this with a little bit of olive oil and put it on a sheet tray. Look at that.
Oh, I love the sound of that.
Right?
So you just on on some parchment paper on a cookie sheet and a baking sheet and into the oven for how long?
So we cooked it about 15 minutes or so, and around 4 to 450, pretty high heat.
So it'll get a little brown, a little crispy.
Yes, yes.
And while that's cooking, you're going to make a nice kind of a shallot vinaigrette.
Yeah, we're gonna give some crunch to it. Do you know what I mean? So peanuts, ground nut peanuts, so delicious, right? Gives you that
Salted?
crunch. These are unsalted.
Unsalted.
And it could be sunflower seeds, it could be peanuts, it could be
Oh, so you can do whatever nut you want.
Just that crunch, right? And then cook them up and just caramelize them a little bit. And this Brussels salad really is really all about texture, right? And flavors, because of the peanuts and because of the things that we're adding in, it's going to be so crunchy and delicious. And
Now, what kind of oil are you?
Just some olive oil.
Just olive oil.
Just some olive oil.
I didn't know if it'd be like peanut oil. Would that be too much? Would that be too much peanut?
No, I think the peanut oil definitely makes sense. But when you cook, especially on a holiday, you don't want to have two oils.
Yeah.
You got olive oil over
Who
there?
needs all the oil?
Yeah.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it.
So just the shallots, we're just cutting down, and just like that.
People are afraid of shallots because well, I think because they got to peel them and it's they're all upset. People get worked up when you say
That's
shallots.
what people are saying?
Well, I don't know if they are. That's what I was saying. I'm sure we're going to hear from the shallot lobby. What are you talking about? You're talking trash talk about our shallots.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high.
Oh!
Boom! Get me, right? And I'm just gonna bring a little bit of chopped parsley as well. There's nothing like just that bitter, beautiful piece of parsley. I love it. You know, when I was a child, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
but I
now
love it.
You've come to appreciate it.
Yes. It means the two things. It means that I'm old and you change your taste.
There
right?
you go.
But the reason why you want a little bitter here is because we're gonna add sweet things to this. Right? We're gonna have maple syrup and we're gonna have these guys. Those guys.
The pomegranates?
The pomegranates, exactly. So the sweetness is gonna go up. I love this sound. I love. So, more in
A
there.
little more olive?
Yeah, just a little bit flavors. Look at that. This alone is delicious,
I was
right?
going to say.
And I'm going back with the same flavors. Some rosemary. A little bit of maple syrup. It could be honey.
Put in agave if you wanted.
Could be agave. See, you travel, you fancy.
I've been around.
You know, I'm here.
I've
trying
been to a
promote-
rodeo. I've seen
trying
the
to promote
county fair.
upstate,
I've
local
tried-
ingredients.
That's
You
right,
go
that
across the
upstate.
border.
Go upstate.
Yeah.
Upstate, that New York maple syrup.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that smells fantastic.
Smells so good, right? And the sound. So this is it. This is it. Look at this.
Wow.
This is it.
This is the noisiest recipe we've made yet.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So, look at that.
Oh, the golden color. Oh, and now look at this.
Add in.
Now you've got the Brussels sprouts that we've already taken out of the oven. You've already
Yes.
prepped these. And you're going to put it in here.
And we're going to toss them because now they're going to get coated with this beautiful.
This is next level.
It is, but it's your holidays. You want that.
I like how your voice went up.
You got family from Paris coming.
Oh.
You better have some good
Look
Brussels on
at
the table.
this.
Look at that.
Oh
That's
my
it.
Gosh.
Look at this. Look at this. This is what I mean. This is
Wow.
a dish by itself. And, you know, it's crunchy. Get in there. Get in there.
This looks like the holidays.
It does, right?
It really does. I mean, it'd be perfect for Christmas. It looks Christmassy. It looks bounty-ish.
Through the whole winter, you can use this recipe, you know, and it's just so
This is almost like a
delicious.
meal. This is a meal unto itself.
It is, definitely. And you have the crunch, you have the delicious factor, and you have, you know, the craveability.
I can feel the umami.
Yes.
I can feel the
love
umami.
it, Al.
Before
You
I
have
even-
now
before I-
graduated.
Before I even eat this,
Yes.
I can.
Fancy
Here, let me
you.
well, look at us. Hold on. Let me. You hold
I
that
can
one.
feel the umami.
I can
That's
feel.
fancy.
Can you feel umami tonight?
Nice.
Here we go.
Look at that. Yeah.
Oh.
And the crunch from the pomegranate and the peanut. It's so delicious.
This is crazy good. I got a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving. Got something new for the dish.
Woo! Whatever you guys are doing here, this is fun. This is next level.
Oh. As we wrap up, and I still have those Brussels sprouts. Oh my gosh, they're so fantastic. What are you most thankful for this year?
The fact that I'm most thankful for that my family and I, and my extended family and I, are healthy. We lost people in 20. I lost my uncle. My nephew had long COVID in Sweden, like not just for months, but for a very, very long time. You know, he's 26, and it's like it's very, very scary for us. And you know, I lost my friend, which you know very well as well, Mr. Floyd Cardos. So 20 was a year where it was really shaky for us emotionally, for me and my family. And I'm grateful for that we are healthy and that we are able to do this and move forward. And again, there is a lesson in all of this, right? It might be too early to really see it, but there is a lesson. I think moments like Thanksgiving gives us an opportunity to say, hey, I appreciate you. I love you.
Well, Marcus Samuelsson, I appreciate you. I have appreciated your friendship, your hospitality, and your kindness. You are truly one of the best, and I'm so thrilled that we were able to have you on Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker. All the best, and enjoy the holidays.
Same to you and your family. And Al, I just want to say, I mean, you can take it out, you can keep it in, but I just want to say, you're truly a mentor for me, and your journey is so inspirational. And when I would think about longevity and greatness, your name always comes up first. So I think for everything, just setting the standard. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
Didn't fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Listen now wherever you get your podcast.
I wonder, do you guys, is there like a movie that makes you boo-hoo? What's your boo-hoo movie? Is it Beaches? Brian's song. Mary goes with Brian's song. Sometimes you just need it. And I have a whole playlist of songs that are the ones that hit the button. And I just play them. Sometimes I just feel like it. Mine are John Denver. John Denver hits me where I hurt. Because I grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia, so we always played John Denver music. We played, Country Roads, and we played all the rest. And every time I play them, I'm reminded of what life was like when it was the five of us sitting around the dinner table. My brother, my sister, me, my mom, and my dad. And you know how everybody has the place they sit at the table. And my dad passed when I was in college. So, of course, I played John Denver like endlessly throughout my college years and beyond. But I remember the first time, and if you've lost someone you love, you know this feeling where you come to the dinner table and everyone had their usual seat. And it's such a empty feeling to see a seat that isn't there, the person who's not sitting in that spot that they've been sitting in since you could remember. But it's funny because how you reflect on things and how they always say sometimes we cry old tears, like from past things. Anyway, I was just thinking about all these things because it was my sister's birthday and we celebrated a big birthday with her. And it reminded me of how often we don't talk to our siblings, not don't talk to them, but like don't spend time. We talk to him about like, how's mom? How's this? How's that? Did you get this? Did you pick up that? Guess what happened with my kid? But in terms of just sitting and talking and visiting and sitting and having a moment. So we went away for her birthday. And since Haley and Hope, we haven't gone away together. And we haven't really spent that much time not with the kids. So it's always been all of us together. And I realized how much that matters, spending time with people you love, whether it's to go away somewhere or to spend time. And the other thing that struck me today, we did this thing on the show. We call it like Flip Your Fall, where we surprise somebody with a trip. But it's somebody who's really deserving and giving. And we had this lady on the show today named Sheila, who is in her late 60s. And her daughter had nominated her for this, this award, basically. And she talked about all her mom had done. And then there was something that struck me about it because we surprised her mother. Everyone was on FaceTime. So the daughter had the phone. And she walked over to her mother and we said, could you please tell us or tell your mom why she's so meaningful to you? And she stood and looked at her mom and said, you saved my life. I was going through COVID and you insisted I go to the hospital and it saved me. And she was talking and talking. And as I realized, as she's speaking to her mother, I thought, how many times are we in the presence of someone we love and we don't really tell them anything? We just go about the business. But if someone forces you to say it, you look at the person and you say to them, let me just tell you why I love you. I mean, imagine if you did that right today with everybody in your life. There's a guy named Rabbi Steve Leader who we've had on multiple times. And he said, do me a favor one day. He said, write a letter to someone you love and don't mail it to them. If they live near you or wait till you visit them, go over to them and say, I'd like to read you something. Do you mind? And just read them your thoughts straight up. Just reading the letter. Picture if you were sitting here right now and your daughter, your best friend, your aunt, your teacher, somebody rolled up to you and said just how meaningful they were in your life and how that would impact you in that minute. My sister, one of the things she told me was there was a teacher she had in high school, which I didn't know any of this. And she said, Hala was one of the only minority kids in the class, and this teacher was I think the only African-American teacher at our high school. And she said every day in math class, he would call her to the board. Miss Cotby, get up here and do this algebra problem. And she was like, oh my God. And she was always panicking. And she was never great at math. And every day he called her up and everyone looked at her like, oh, they felt so sorry for her. Miss Cotby, work it out. And she was like, rah. So she would cram, learn. And she got better. And she said she saw it at first as him picking on her. Why is he always picking on me? Why is he picking on me? Well, she learned that he had passed recently, and she said, it just dawned on me. He was choosing me. He chose me. You know, they picked out, you know, one minority professor picked out the one minority kid and called her up to the board until she went from a C student to an A student in math. She got an A in algebra for like the first time ever. And it reminded me that most kids, and my dad used to tell us this, most kids can be taught things if they're taught the way they learn. You know, they can be taught. And there was this crazy, crazy, crazy thing that I read somewhere that said some Harvard wonkies went to some elementary school or whatever it was, or junior high. And they said to a teacher, I'm going to assess your class and we're going to tell you who the leaders are going to be, who the top CEOs, future CEOs are going to be. So they went through the roster and they did their tests and studies and all this stuff. They said, we got 3 people here. We got Janie, who's in the front row. We got Jerry, who's in the back, in the middle row. And we got Maria in the back. And, you know, and they said, oh, Maria in the back? She's going to be... And they said, oh, yeah. They said, oh, she doesn't speak up and she hardly even, well, sorry, that's what our study showed. So she was like, okay. So all year long, that teacher was like, Maria, 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 shouting her out every day. You can do it. You got this. So the Harvard wonks came back 3 months later and they said, well, what did you find? And she said, you were right. Oh my God, Maria went from a D to an A. Oh my God, I'm so glad you did those tests of our kids. I would have never known. And they said to her, we never did any tests. We randomly picked 3 kids out of your class and they all got A's. So it just shows you you are capable of learning, just like my sister was capable of learning, but she just needed someone to nudge her or push her. So how did we get here? You know who knows? Nobody knows. That's what I always say at the end of it all. Nobody knows. That's the way it rolls. But anyway, so, okay, we're about to be joined by Michael Strahan. There are many things I love about Michael. One is that he's in the car right now. Right now, are you driving or are you a passenger, Michael?
I drive. I have on the way to work, I'm a passenger. Any other time, I drive myself.
Okay,
How are you doing, my dear?
By the way, I'm doing great. I just want to, before I get into your whole cool situation that you have going now, I just need to stroll down memory lane because I don't know if you recall this moment, but it's emblazoned in my memory and will be for the rest of my life. There was a moment that you, Michael Strahan, and I were competing on Lip Sync Battle. Okay.
Oh, I knew it.
Wait. I just, for viewers who don't know exactly what this was. The first thing that happened was Michael Strahan got up on stage and he didn't get up alone. He got up with Belle Biv DeVoe. And I was like, wow, can we just roll the results? Go ahead and roll that tape.
Hoda and Michael have given the performances of their lives.
Oh my God.
Right now it's time to select a champion. Audience is up to you. Is the winner Michael Strahan? Or is the winner Hoda Kotb? And the winner and Lip Sync Battle champion is Hoda Kotb.
Okay, I didn't want to brag, but I had to, Michael. You know I had to, babe.
Well, you know, Hoda, I knew that was coming. But, you know, that was like the early days of Lip Sync Battle, right?
Remember,
so
we didn't even know what was going on.
It was like me and an assistant. You showed up with 25 people that were screaming. I had one person.
Wait, what are you talking about? I walked in with Megan Puff
on me.
Well, you know what, Michael? So much has happened to you since that moment. I mean, I cannot believe your career, and I cannot believe the trajectory. And like a lot of people, I assumed that you just had it handed to you. And I don't know why I thought that. I just thought, you know, you're a professional athlete, you get some TV gigs, you know, this guy's got a charmed life. And I was so surprised and also just grateful to like learn about the real story. You've got something on ESPN called More Than an Athlete. Why did you feel like you sort of wanted people to know the backstory?
I think it's just, you have so many people, like you said, like Oda. I looked up to you, and I love watching you because your demeanor and how you are on TV is how you are in real life. And that's one of the hardest things for people to do, is to be themselves on TV. So that's what I guess I'll call it a brand, but that's just who I am. And I learned that from watching you. Like, that's what you do. And that's why people are so endeared to you. But I also think when people see that you're happy, you're smiling, and you're grateful, that they assume that, because of that, it just kind of just easily came your way. And I think it's just important for all those people who look up to you, and for all those people who say, oh, I want to do that, to understand that there are a lot of roadblocks along the way, that it's not all easy, that you're going to get shut down. You're going to have disappointment. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have all those things. But you have to push through those things. You have to maintain who you are and maintain your spirit throughout all of that. And also have a long-term vision. I don't know anyone who's been successful who has a short-term vision. You got to see where you want to go, and you have to just stick with it no matter, all the different things that are thrown your way. And I just wanted people to see that that's what's happened in my life. And also wanted to show a little love and give some insight and love to a lot of the people who've helped me along the way. So for me to even watch it was great, because it showed me what my life and my career looked like from the eyes of the people who've been around for it, from my earlier, the kid, all the way through college and the pro football and after. So it's been a great experience for me to film it, and kind of a trip down memory lane. Like, this is your life. People really don't know what's going to happen. Only a dozen hours after the Eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, right? 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses. By the hand with everything.
All right, it just did too.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age? You have nothing to prove, because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today.
Let's go! International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
When did you, if you had to put your finger on when your family members or parents were the proudest of you in your life and career, when would that moment have been?
Man, the most proud. There's a picture. My father passed away a little bit over a year ago, and the one image that's burned into my mind, a picture that every time I used to look at used to make me cry, but now makes me extremely happy and smile, is at the Super Bowl 42, 2007. And some friend of mine who took a picture of my dad in the stand, and he just had the biggest grin on his face. And he's wearing his Giants hat with the 92 with the name on it. And he was just so proud. And for me, it's not saying at that moment, but that picture of him is the picture of just proud. And I think for all of us, we just want our kids to do better than we've done and to take what we've taught them and expand on it. And for my parents, that moment he was proud. When I was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you would have sworn he was inducted, which he was with me, into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think every step is a new level of proud. And that's what kind of drives me along the way to not quit, to keep on going. And not that I have to prove anything to myself or anybody else, but I just kind of, I've always done everything to make my family proud. And that's my driving force.
What was the closest you'd ever come to, you say you have to overcome adversity. What was the closest you'd ever come to succumbing to it?
There have been points throughout my life. I mean, when I was 13 years old and I was, I wasn't going to say I was a big boned kid. Let's put it that way. I was big boned, as they call it. So, and I went out and I bought the Jane Fonda tapes and I bought the Herschel Walker workout book. And that's really how I started working out. And it taught me that if you don't like something in your life about yourself or your situation, maybe your job, maybe what's going on, you have the ability to change it. And that was the first time in my life that I've ever had been in a situation in 13. And I didn't realize this till much later, but I was like, man, you know what? I didn't like that. I didn't like being called those things. So I changed it. It was up to me. No one else was going to do it for me. And when I went to college, my parents were still in Germany. I was in Houston. I didn't like it. I was lonely. I missed everybody. I wanted to quit. I tried to quit. My dad just wouldn't let me quit.
Oh, you tried?
Gave in. Yeah, I tried. I tried to stay at home and act like ignore that school was happening.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Oh, shouldn't you be back in school?"
So.
I'm like, yeah. But I made a decision. I'm not gonna go back. I thought I was man at that point. And he looked at me and said, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "You know what? I'm gonna stay here and get a job." He looked at me and his voice got a lot deeper than mine. And he said, "What are you gonna do?" And I said, "Well, sir, I guess I'm going back to school." So if it weren't for him pushing me, then I definitely would have succumbed to a lot of different things. I've been on shows that have failed. But I've learned to just look at failure as an opportunity to learn something, and it's another step. And everything that I do to the best of my ability, if it's successful or not, because you learn from it, and you never know who's watching with the next opportunity that comes your way.
Do you care?
So I get. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just was going to ask. Criticism flies all over the place, and everyone's on the receiving end at some point. Does it hurt you?
Absolutely. I'm human. We're all human. I think playing football, though, gave me a very, very thick skin, because you football 1 week, you're the worst thing in the world, and the next week you're the best thing in the world. So emotionally, it's like a roller coaster, and you learn that during success, you don't get too happy, and in failure, you don't get too upset, because it goes up and down, it ebbs and flows. So I think that playing sports really helped me with that. And I used to get more upset by the end of my career that my teammates would get criticized, because I'm watching them work extremely hard and things aren't going their way. So for me, I've learned to kind of take that criticism and think to myself, well, most of the time, at least I knew in sports, the person that was criticizing me, you can't do what I do.
Yeah.
You're criticizing me, but you can't do what I do. I can do what you do. You can't do what I do. So why am I letting that affect me?
I love that. You could do what they do, and you're doing it. It's funny, Michael, because there are some people who make a transition between sports and broadcasting, and they do it flawlessly. But there are many, many, many more who've tried and just haven't been able to do it for what they're different skills. And it's a whole different thing. People think, well, if you've got a good voice or if you have this, you can do it. But it's a different animal. How, when you're that successful in football and you're stepping into it's like you're starting off as the new kid in school all over again. I mean, did you think to yourself, this may or may not work and I'll just figure it out as I go? Or were you confident you were going to make it?
No, I look back and think, how in the heck do these people keep giving me these jobs? I have no idea what I'm doing. It was interesting, because playing sports, and whenever you go to broadcasting, like at Fox, and you're talking about sports, that's what's expected of you.
Yeah.
When I started doing Live with Kelly, that was a totally different experience, but it was a personality-based experience. Mm-hmm. And I kind of felt, and I attacked that as if I'm not going to get this job. I never thought I was going to get the job. So what did I have to lose? I couldn't go in there and be as silly as I wanted to be. Who cared? Right. And that ended up helping me get the job by being, just having that non-fear of failure. And When it came to GMA, I actually told them no. Like, I don't want to do this. This is not what I do. Yeah, I told them no. They asked me to do it. I said, absolutely not. I'll stay right here at Live. I can make this work. I'm good. And they pretty much said, well, it wasn't really an ask. It was a, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't really asking me like I thought they were if I wanted to do it. They're pretty much telling me, we need you to do this.
Yeah.
So I had to learn on the fly, but it took me a long time, I would say years, to feel comfortable doing it because it was like imposter syndrome. But then I figured out that people want to hear the news from all different types of people. Everyone's not going to look like the traditional newscaster that we grew up watching. I think the world has changed so much. And I think the way that I deliver it, maybe it hits a certain type of person a different way than it would if it came from someone else who was more traditional. And I applaud them for seeing that in me and trusting in me and helping me believe in myself to be able to do it. And now I absolutely love it. It keeps me so engaged with the world, what's going on. And that's just made me much more aware of everything around the world.
So are you, and like, I don't know how you prep the night before or if you're a morning person. I always, sometimes I try to keep my head clear at night because I want to, be with my kids and do my thing. And I wake up at the crack and start to do my cramming. What's your process? Like, when do you prepare for the show?
I split it up. I usually start about 6:30 and I'll go for like an hour or so until dinner with the kids because being at their age, they're in volleyball practice and all that stuff. So I have that time. And then when they come home for dinner, then that's pretty much it. And I try not to read anything too close to bed because I try to like not have my mind occupied so I can actually get some sleep. And then when I wake up in the morning, I got to cram in the rest of it. And preparation is everything. Knowing what's ahead, what's coming up, what you're talking about, the informed questions to ask. I think that makes things easy when you know you're prepared, or easier. Nothing is not really easy, but it makes it easier when you're prepared for it. And I learned that from sports too. I would go into football games knowing that I didn't watch as much film as I needed to, and those were the worst games because I'm out there guessing what's going to happen. And the games that I actually put in that work away from it, those were the easier games for me. And that's the same way in this business.
It's a good rule of thumb. You talked about your kids. And I find this interesting in trying to figure out how to navigate these waters. But you describe, you went through some difficult times when you were younger. Came back from Germany, trying to acclimate yourself, trying to figure this out, thinking about quitting college, et cetera, et cetera. How do you raise kids when, if they have an ask, you could deliver it, you could give it to them? And if they want something, you could make sure that it's in their hands. How do you raise like grateful, good kids who are hard workers when they have everything at their disposal?
And that is the challenge. And I think the key for me, it is definitely, that is the biggest challenge, to be honest with you. When your kids know that they can have or ask for something and that you can make it happen. And for you, the hard thing is to say no. But I feel that, for me, I've had to earn everything. My dad never said, yeah, son, here's $500, you go buy it. I still have the first BMX bike that I ever bought because he said, you earn half of it, I'll earn half of it. And I had to cut grass and babysit, which I'm the awful babysitter. I'd fall asleep before the parents came home. But I had to do all those things to earn this money. I still have that bike to this day because it reminds me that if you want something, you have to work for it. So for my kids, I think that's important for them too. If you want something, you work for it. I'm just not going to give it to you. And you have your things around the house that you can do. I understand they have full schedules in school because these schools now are really challenging. But at the same time, those are things that they're going to carry long after I'm gone. And the things that they can pass on to their kids is that, nothing substitutes hard work and that no one owes you anything. And I'll be honest with you, I often tell them, your lifestyle is the byproduct of my lifestyle. You didn't earn this. And if I decide that, when I'm gone, that you get something great. If I don't, then you got to earn it. So I want you to be prepared for that. I don't want you to have a lifestyle that you can't maintain if I'm not around.
Are you going to leave them things?
I'm pretty sure I will. I'm pretty, don't let them hear this, but I'm pretty sure I will.
Well, Michael, you're super cool. I don't want to take away from your driving. I don't know where you're going, but I want to be in the car wherever you are. You've got it. You're of course. It's called Uninterrupted's More Than an Athlete. It's on ESPN Plus, and these episodes are amazing. They focus on Michael's life. If you think you know him, you don't know him. You'll learn a lot more. You're such a great guy, Michael. I wish you such good luck, honey.
And hold on, the same to you as always. I love you. I always love spending time with you whenever I can, and I want my rematch.
Okay, you know what? I still have the belt. It's in my dressing room. Okay, I would not let Matt
you're
go.
rubbing it in.
Don't you worry.
I want the rematch.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with David Duchovny coming up right after this.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, you know, right? Yeah, 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the man deliberations.
All right, it just me too.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work, or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, you know, right? Yeah, 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the man deliberations.
All right, it just me too.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late-breaking news.
All right, it just me too.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm very happy because I am joined by the very distinguished David Duchovny, who looks good after the pandemic. David, I think is this the first time I've seen you in 2+ years, because my good friend Matt Money shot me a text this morning. Matt Money is the guy who helps me with accounting, and he's in my phone as Matt Money, which is sad. But anyway, Matt Money said, "Oh my God, my pal David's on," and I said, "Lucky me. How are you?"
I'm good. Thanks. It's nice to see you. It's been a while. Yeah, you look very well yourself.
Thank you. How is Matt Money? Is he all right?
He's the best. I mean, he's really my oldest friend. I mean, at this point in my life, we grew up together, and I named a character in a movie after him. I mean, he's like he's my brother from another mother.
Yeah, where'd you guys grow up?
We grew up on the Lower East Side. I was on 18th and 3rd. He was on 20th and 2nd. And then I moved way far away to 11th and 2nd. And that actually, you know, when you're that age, which was like 10 or 11, it was a big distance. It actually broke us apart, you know, like 7 blocks was a deal breaker back then.
Isn't that I mean, that's kind of the way it is in Manhattan, isn't it? It's like you go to a Dwayne Reed, and if it shuts down on your block, you're like, I don't know where to go. It's like there's another one 4 blocks down. What was it like for people who wonder about kids who grow up in Manhattan on the Upper East Side, or on the East Side? What was life like as a kid to grow up in Manhattan?
Well, I want to distinguish. It's not the Upper East Side, so that's different. So the Lower East Side is really, really very much a melting pot at that point. Like the neighborhood that I grew up in, strangely, was like a 50-50 mix of Ukrainian and Puerto Rican, which is very, and then it was also a lot of hippies and a lot of like counterculture stuff. So that's a cool neighborhood to grow up in. You know, but again, you know, wherever you're growing up, you just see it as reality, right? As like, oh, that's where it is everywhere. I didn't have any sense that it was any that you couldn't get shaved ice and syrup and a pierogi within 10 feet of each other. That's the way the world works.
How do you think it shaped you as a human being? Like you said, it's what you see every day, so it's what becomes real. But how did it shape you?
I'm completely permissive. I accept everything. I saw everything. I saw the counterculture. I saw all races, all religions, everything. There was no judgment from me. That was my reality. So it was just, I was just inundated with everything. Everything the world could offer was in the Lower East Side in my childhood, and therefore I accept all. I accept it all. I think the deadpan comes from that, because I was like, no shock, can't, do not give it away, just like keep walking, So I think I'm very thankful to have grown up in such a vibrant, crazy, especially you got to remember that's the late 60s, early 70s. I mean, it was also pretty down and out down there, so there was, it wasn't like the theme park New York that we have today. It was, that shit was real.
Yeah. You know what I always think of when I think of New York? I always think in this tiny little island of Manhattan that, like you said, has every race, every religion, every language. You could walk through Central Park and hear 5 languages. I always think, like, if a city like Manhattan can work, then the world can, because this is people living like stacked like cordwood next to each other. It's a tight fit, but yet somehow it works, and people tolerate and live and, go about their lives surrounded.
Well, it's true, Hoda. Yeah, I mean, that's the wish, right? That's the hope. And, sometimes I miss that New York, but it was also, that was really the New York of, Ford to City Drop Dead and all that, where people actually thought this city was going to fail and go away. And that everybody was going to move out of the city. So there was a certain kind of reality of a danger, not of a physical danger, but of just like, oh, this doesn't work anymore. The city doesn't work anymore. So, I think there's a certain romanticizing of that now.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was so cool to be living through it.
That's interesting. Yeah. There's a lot of things we love about you. I think if you stopped 1 million people in the street, many, many, many would say that they know David Duchovny as the actor, but I like the David Duchovny as the singer-songwriter. It's much more fun to me. Gestureland is your third studio album. It's out. There's a bunch of great songs, but one of them is Everything is Noise. So shall we listen to a little?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I was breaking through the skyline. Now I'm taking all the time that I can.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends of today in a whole new way.
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age? You have nothing to prove, because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go! International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late-breaking news.
All right,
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Tell me about that song. Tell me about writing it. Tell me about performing it.
Well, that's a song that's written with Keenan O'Mara, who's one of the guys in the band, and he came in with this thing, and he was like, "I'm trying to write for you. I've never written for anybody before." I was like, "I'm trying to write. I want to put it in your range." And so we worked on that together, and it was kind of fun for me because it's really one of the only songs ever. Maybe there's 2 or 3 songs on this album that would have originated with somebody else in the band. Usually it originates with me, and then we work on it as a band. There's a few songs in this album where it originated with band members, and they came to me, and I found that kind of liberating. Almost like I was writing, like he was writing for me, and I was writing for him, and that was
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's beautiful. Your band, how long have you guys been together?
From the beginning of recording, so it's like 2015, so 6 years now. Same guys. Drummer has changed time to time, like the Spinal Tap joke. The drummer explodes now and then, and we have to get a new one. But the core members have remained.
And what I know you haven't been able to perform live, obviously during the pandemic, but have you been able to perform since things have loosened up? And what has that been like?
Haven't performed in front of a paying audience. We did a video of a few live performances just this weekend in a studio, but that was just to kind of get video footage and stuff. So we haven't been out like as a touring band at all, and I'm really looking forward to that. Maybe we're talking about July, but not for a while. It's tough though because like we're not playing like huge outdoor places that might be safer at this point. We're playing, from 500 to 3,000, whatever, like a lot of people, but in indoor spaces. So we want to be safe.
Right. Very few people get to experience that thrill of being on a stage and singing before people. What does that give you?
Well, it is a thrill. I don't know what it gives me. It gives me energy, when I'm up there, but, see all those people and realize they came out here to, have a good time and hear some music. But, it's just, I guess you kind of go into another state when you're up there, or at least I do, of like, it's almost like you're the host of a party and you kind of feel responsible for like those people in that section. They don't seem to be, they're not up. Why aren't they up? I got to get them up. And that guy's falling asleep. I got to wake him up, and it, even if there's 3,000 people, I can see a lot of individual faces, and I'll like clue into somebody. I'm like, I got to get that guy. That guy, he's resisting. I got to go get him.
So you go after the one who may not be. I
do. I go after that guy.
Do you like to be liked? I mean, do you hate when someone doesn't like you?
No, I don't hate it, but I prefer to be liked. But it depends. Depends if it's legitimate or not. Like if somebody doesn't like me for a legitimate reason, I'm like, hey, that's your opinion, and that's legitimate. But if they dislike me for an illegitimate reason, then that could bug me.
Well, it's funny because you said you were trying to get the one who's zoning out. You're trying to get their attention. So this has nothing to do with this, but I was just thinking about this. Happened to me recently at the Today Show. So I was sitting there and someone went by the window and I thought they were waving. So I started waving at them and the guy double flipped me off.
Oh, wow.
But wait, I continued waving like a crazy person, trying to win him over. I was like this, no, hi. I was like, my smile got so big because all I wanted to do was win the guy over. And when you were saying you're trying to wake the guy up who was asleep, it was sort of like you're trying so hard to win someone over. And that's why I was asking you if it matters that,
Well, it matters in a way. I guess it does matter, but I guess I don't think of it in terms of like. I think of it as like, just let me in, just listen. Yeah. Just know you're going to like it. You're going to like it, not me. And I wish you would have chased that guy down the street.
I'm still wondering, like, what the heck still at this. So when you're writing a song.
You know what I think? I think it's a reflective window. I think he was flipping himself off. Like he couldn't even see through the window. He never even saw you. That's my theory.
By the way, I'm going to take that theory and I'm going to remember that as I remember that story. So when you're writing a song, David, especially in this time, are are your songs all speaking to the moment that we're in right now?
No, none of them are. I mean, I speak to I try to speak, this is going to make people not like me. Here you go. I try to speak to what's human, and what's human is eternal, like for us anyway, as long as we last on this planet, right? So to me, it's all the same. Throughout history, all the concerns have been the same. It's love, it's war, it's hate, it's revenge, it's regret, it's life and death. So we have our specific moments to go through now, for sure, and those are interesting, and those are what we've been given, because we're alive now. But for me, art and song is about like the bedrock of it all. So yeah, the clothes might change, and maybe I'll address certain, clothes, clothes being what's happening in the present. But like my concern is really like, the human aspect of it. Like if I was being totally honest.
I think that'll make people like you even more. People pick up the third album, guys. This is David Duchovny's album. It's called Gestureland, and it's on all streaming services, and you can find more of it on davidduchovny.com. David, thank you.
Thanks, Hoda.
What a pleasure. God, I love that guy.
I'm going to find that guy for you. I'm looking for a guy with his both fingers extended right now. All day long.
There's plenty of them around. All right. We'll be back right after the break. Thanks, David.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends of today in a whole new way.
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late breaking news.
All right,
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go! International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late breaking news.
All right,
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
All right, I've got Elaine Welteroth with us. She's the New York Times bestselling author, award-winning journalist, a judge on Project Runway. I mean, come on. Okay, there's so much to read. Previously editor-in-chief and beauty editor of Teen Vogue. I mean, girl, you have it, okay?
Look who's talking, Hoda.
Hold on. I'm looking at you right now. And your thing. Okay, so here's the thing. Your masterclass on careers. There are so many things to talk about with Project Runway. I want to get to it. But I think there are, I'm imagining people in their cars or in their homes listening to Sirius and are trying to find out how to navigate the waters of a career. And when I was listening to yours, I thought, well, that's how you do it, isn't it? If you were giving a mini commencement speech or talking to people who just wanted to learn, what advice do you give on career?
Well, first of all, the fact that you, Hoda, watch any part of my masterclass is a major honor. I think you're next. I think you need to do a masterclass. But listen, I think that this is such a transformational time for so many people. Over the course of the last 2 years, so many of us have found ourselves re-examining our lives and thinking about why we do what we do, and kind of like finally having the opportunity to stop moving through life on autopilot and start living with more intention. And I think people are craving a deeper sense of purpose in their work in particular. And so I said hell yes to this masterclass because when I left Condé Nast and I decided to, embark on my editor afterlife and to design my own career, I said, I don't want to build a company that I don't want to work for. So from here on out, it is a hell yes, or it's a no. And so I got to a hell yes with this masterclass because I thought, you know what, this is the perfect time. I think people need help navigating this new normal. They might know they're craving more fulfillment, but they might not know where to start. And it's also extremely scary to make a career transition at any point, whether you're just coming out of college trying to figure out who you are, what you're put on this earth to do, what job you should pursue that will actually pay the bills. Or if you're, mid-career and you're making a pivot, or if you're like my mom who just retired and is like, wait, I got a whole bunch more life left in me and I want to spend it, intentionally. So for me, I think there's so much to say about this, but I think being able to identify what I call your zone of genius is where it all starts.
Yeah.
Because to me, the way I just define your zone of genius is sort of that sweet spot, that intersection between your values, your skill set, and your passions and your talent. And I think it requires going inside. It requires quieting social media, quieting the opinions of others, even trying to separate yourself from the identity that you've built with whatever you've been doing, to try to get deeper into what really motivates you, what really excites you. And the goal is to try to spend more of your days, more of your life operating from that zone of genius.
That's so profound. And it's so funny. I was talking to a friend of mine and she was saying, I just recently started to try to separate what beliefs I have and what beliefs my parents had. Do I believe this thing, or was I taught it my whole life, so therefore it's planted in me? So I think that's one of my values. But in reality, if I were to sit with it for a while and go, wait, actually, I've been doing it by rote, or I've been thinking it by rote, or they always said I was only good at X, so I've been doing X. But to kind of weed that out, what stuff is yours and what stuff has been part of you for a long time? You've just been carrying it. And now you're sitting here in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, going like, wait a second. I don't even like this. I just keep doing it and I need to find my own way. Were you ever so scared when you were at a career transition? Were you like, I'm terrified. I don't know if I should do this?
Oh, absolutely. I've absolutely been through a number of scary transitions. I think the scariest was going from, the corporate media world. I spent over 11, 12 years as a magazine journalist, and I had climbed the ranks faster than even I expected. And I just knew deep down it was time to take a bet on myself and to take that leap of faith. And luckily, early on in my career, I had this mentor whose career I really held up as my blueprint. And her name was Harriet Cole. She was my first boss. And the way that she designed her career allowed her so much latitude. She was able to carve out this really unique space for herself in media that was at the intersection of all of her interests, her passions, and her values. And then from there, once she built this foundation in magazines, she was able to use it as a springboard to write best-selling books, to launch herself into TV, to do all kinds of work that allowed her to feel fulfilled. And she started her own production company. And so for me, she was the prototype. So having that blueprint coming into my first career as a magazine editor gave me the foresight to go, at some point, I am going to take a leap of faith. And so at every career transition, I asked myself this one question, which I think, one of my mentors along the line had given this to me, and it's been so helpful. The question was, have I reached the point of diminishing returns? And if the answer was no, there's more to learn, there's more to achieve, there's more to accomplish, I have more to prove, then you stick it out, you stay the course, you stay in that job, or you move on to the next job. But if the answer is like, yeah, I've done it, like my bucket list is checked off, then it's your time. It's your time. And you know when you know it, but it's often fear that holds us back. And that's why we need things like a masterclass that help give you a framework to work with, or you need a support system. I know I would not have been able to leave that, dream job as the editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue at 31. I was appointed at, I think, 29, and I had done everything I could, I imagined and more in such a pivotal time in our country. So I just thought, this is the time, if any. But there was one person that got in my ear that really was able to push me out of my fear that was almost paralyzing. And it was Ava DuVernay. And I just remember I sat with her the one like fateful night, and she's one of my career idols as well. And she listened to me. She listened to my dreams. She listened to the opportunities that I still had at Condé Nast. And, most people would have said, you got a sexy job. Yeah, you better stay in it, girl. Yeah. That's a dream job. Yeah. You're still young. You bet, you got Anna Wintour in your corner. You should stay. It sounds sexy, but Ava is somebody who went from publicity to becoming one of the best known, most decorated film directors of our time. And she didn't do that by doing the sexy thing or staying the path that everybody saw for her. So she looked at me and she said, Elaine, do you want to know what I think? And I'm like, you're Ava freaking DuVernay. Yes. Of course I want to know what you think. And she said, I think the universe is calling you to be a little bit braver right now.
Ooh, that's a good line. Ooh, that's a good line. Oh, that's a good line. And by the way, Harriet Cole, when you said her name, my heart leapt because we've had her on our show and I loved her to the moon.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today.
Let's go. International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're going to do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late-breaking news.
All right,
I want to ask about, you have great mentors, by the way. I wish we could just keep that part of the conversation going, but we do have to talk about why you came on today. It is a new season of Project Runway. It's on Bravo. You've loved this show for many years. Tell me about why you think it has such staying power and what we can expect.
This show is so beloved. I mean, I get stopped all the time with people who want to tell me how long they've been watching it, who they've been rooting for. And it's so much fun. But I think now more than ever, people are craving inspiration.
Yeah.
And they're craving, just being able to see creativity in action. And we've all been on Zooms for 2 years now. And to be able to see, a lot of people have gone through a lot of loss as well. And not just, in terms of losing people they love, but losing their careers and kind of falling off of their career trajectories. And the same is true for a lot of these contestants. So for them to get this second chance at chasing their dream, man, when I tell you, I got chills. I was in tears just hearing their stories. They come from all over the world, from Afghanistan, to Colombia, Japan. I mean, all over. It's one of the most diverse groups we've ever had, but they're all connected by the crisis that we've all gone through collectively over the last couple of years. And it really bonded them from day one.
This bold green landscape is symbolic of the power of color to inspire, to uplift, and to celebrate this new beginning.
They were craving human connection, and they were craving getting back to their craft. And let me tell you, not only is it heartwarming, but it's full of drama, because they did not come to lose, they came to win. And it's one of the best seasons of Project Runway, I think, ever.
We got to remind everybody this new season of Project Runway. It's Thursdays at 9/8 Central on Bravo. Elaine, I don't know what your next chapter is, but trust me, I'll be reading it. So thank you for being on the show with me. I appreciate you. And don't forget to look at Elaine's masterclass. Real good. You'll learn a lot, no matter how old you are. See, I learned a lot. Anyone can learn a lot. Elaine, thank you so much. And thank you to David Duchovny. Thank you to Michael Strahan for joining us on the Hoda Show today. It was a nice show, great show. I hope you were inspired. And you can find me right back here next week on the Hoda Show. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
I think about faith, and I think about how it's really, truly helped get me through this pandemic. These are tough times. I've counted on my faith. It hasn't always been, firing on all cylinders. I've had questions, I've had doubts, but it's been there for me.
It's my lucky day when Harry Connick Jr. joins Quoted by. Harry is one of my pals. We share the love of New Orleans and the love of many things. But Harry, okay, everyone's got a quote, something that's kind of their guiding light. What's your quote?
I thought about this. I knew I was going to be talking to you today, and I don't want it to sound conceited, but I actually have a quote that I wrote, which is from my new album. It's from a song. The song is called Alone with My Faith. The quote is, "I don't have all the answers, but I have always known I'm eternally faithful, so I am never alone."
That's chills. That's chills right there. Tell me how that gives you that kind of sense of peace.
Well, faith is something I think is a gift that was given to us by God to compel us to communicate with Him. And I think about faith, and I think about how it's really, truly helped get me through this pandemic. These are tough times, and I've counted on my faith. It hasn't always been firing on all cylinders. I've had questions, I've had doubts, but it's been there for me, and it's an evolving, wonderful gift. And it was important to write about faith.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful. And I think, some people call it prayer. Some people just have conversations with God. What is it for you?
I think it's all of those things. Yeah. For me, I believe in God, and I believe that, God wants me to talk to Him. And I try to do that. I try to be honest and be the best person that I can be. And in times like we've all just gone through, I find that to be very comforting.
Yeah, I know, because the world is full of uncertainty. And once you have that locked in, you feel like, okay, we'll make it through this one, just like we made it through the other stuff.
For me, it's about family and faith. And I know it's about that for you too, and so many of your viewers watching now. If those parts of your life are paramount and in order, then everything else just kind of falls into place. It doesn't mean you're not going to be disappointed or you're not going to endure hardships, but it sure makes handling things a little bit easier.
It sure does. Well, I love that quote. I'm going to read it one more time. I don't have all the answers, but I have always known I'm eternally faithful, so I'm never alone. That's from your song, Alone with My Faith. Beautiful. Harry, we love you, man. I can't wait to see you in New Orleans soon.
I know. I love you too, Hoda.
Okay.
Take care of the beautiful family of yours.
I will. You too. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Hello to all of you tuning in to Today All Day. I'm Joe Fryer, filling in for Carson today. This is Pop Start Plus, where we always have the latest and greatest in entertainment news and interviews. On this Wednesday, Ryan Reynolds is with us in Studio 1A with plenty to say about his action-packed new movie and life at home. Plus, we're looking back at the beloved High School Musical as it turns 15 years old. But up first, Chanel Jones has your Pop Start headlines.
First up, it is time for People's Sexiest Man Alive, and the 2021 honoree is Paul Rudd.
Wow.
Beloved ageless
Well-deserved.
actor is officially the sexiest man alive. Rudd telling People magazine, I'm going to lean into it hard. I'm going to own this. And joking, I'm hoping now that I'll finally be invited to some of those sexy dinners with Clooney and Pitt and Michael B. Jordan, and I figure I'll be on a lot more yachts. The announcement was revealed in last night's episode of The Late Show. But before Stephen Colbert presented Paul with his new title, he put him through a few rigorous tests. Take a look.
Are you ready to be sworn in?
Absolutely.
Raise your right hand and put your left hand on a photo of your own face. Did you bring a headshot?
I could just use my own face?
What do you see that's in common?
Well, they're all kind of casually reclining.
Posture. Can I see you slump? Show me a sexy slump.
Sure thing.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I love it so much. So we'll have to ask former sexiest man alive, Ryan Reynolds, if he thinks Paul nailed the sexy slump when he stops by our studio in just a minute. I love that. All right, next up, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. HBO dropped the first trailer for the 2021 induction ceremony. The star-studded event featured an amazing lineup of performers and presenters, including superstar Jennifer Lopez, Taylor Swift, and Paul McCartney. Check it out.
I want to thank all of you.
Carole King is the greatest songwriter of all time.
She's inspired us all so much. Oh, thank you.
I went to every single record company, and you know what they say, right? It's trash. I, for not 1 second, changed my course. Now that's rock and roll.
Tina Turner is who we're here tonight to celebrate.
Foo Fighters. This band is one of the greatest rock and roll bands. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us.
I want to jump through the screen right now and sit in the audience.
How did we miss that?
Can you imagine the energy in that room? No. Well, here's the deal. The 2021 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it starts streaming November 20th.
We haven't missed it.
On HBO Max. No, you haven't
no.
watch it.
We just missed being there.
Yes.
That's why we're invited.
We weren't in Cleveland.
Oh, right.
There you go. Well, that's why Pop Start is here, to prepare you. Yeah. All right, next up, Squid Game. It is official. A second season of the Netflix hit is in the works. In an interview with the Associated Press, the show's director, creator, and writer confirmed he's currently in the planning process for the next chapter. Following its September premiere on Netflix, listen to this. Squid Game became the streaming service's biggest series launch ever, surpassing previous record holder Bridgerton.
Wow.
Huge. As for what's next for the main character, the show's creator shared that it's too early to say what's going to happen, but he will be back doing something for the world. Huge. All right, next up, Tom Hanks. From Forrest Gump to Big to Apollo 13, the Academy Award-winning actor has played some of Hollywood's most iconic roles. But have you ever wondered which one is his favorite? Well, in a recent conversation on the Bill Simmons podcast, Hanks ranked the 3 films that were his favorite to do.
Number one, I would probably say number one would be League of Their Own, because all I did all summer was play baseball. Then I would say Castaway, because it was just, we had just bold adventures when we were making that movie. I mean, we were out in the middle of the ocean, just, trying to grab shots. And we were off in Fiji on 2 different occasions, and I had the whole family with me. And the last film I would say that was magical for me was a movie called Cloud Atlas.
See, it's not maybe what you think, right?
No,
Cloud Atlas.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that
It was a
one.
very esoteric, strange movie.
Oh, really?
I'm surprised. That
No
really
Forrest Gump.
Well, isn't that interesting?
But you know what? He loved the things that he was doing while he was there.
Yes.
It was the
Fiji
experience.
the experience of being in those places.
And
Cool.
another common thread was that with those movies he named, he got to be with his family. His family was able to go along with him.
In
So it
nice
makes a big
places.
difference. Yeah. All right, finally, Elf. There's one lucky fan of the classic Christmas movie who's as big of a fan of Santa as Buddy himself.
Santa.
Department store Santas better watch out this holiday season. Will Ferrell's iconic Buddy the Elf costume, listen to this, just sold at auction for almost $300,000. The winning bid coming in way over the estimated $20,000 to $40,000 it was expected to pull in. The costume comes
Costumeflation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You get those fantastic fleece-pointed hat, the shoes, the embroidered jacket, matching stockings from the 2003 hit holiday movie. The auction winner's identity, by the way, has not yet been revealed, but
I think we'll be able to spot him.
Since you're here with us on Pop Star Plus, check out this bonus news. First up, Meghan Trainor, the Grammy winner, is getting real about parenthood in Ellen DeGeneres' online series Mom Confessions, revealing the most dad thing her husband Daryl Sabara has started doing since the birth of their son Riley.
Listen, when I was pregnant, he gave me a speech that he needed dad swag. So he's very into it, and he's really good at it, and he knows he's good at it. So the most dad thing he's done is bought like 8 new pairs of Crocs. Yes.
We're sure Daryl's rocking that Crocs-clad dad look with the best of them. And finally, Kelly Clarkson, the superstar, will be joined by actor Cal Penn on her talk show later today. In a preview for the upcoming episode, Kelly and Cal reveal the big mistakes they made when getting tattoos. Cal saying he inked the wrong DNA code from an ancestry test result on his forearm, and Kelly trying to one-up him with her first tattoo mishap when she was only 18 years old.
My first tattoo is a Japanese kanji character, and they said it means blessed, and then I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I was like 18 years old. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
My place had just burned down. I wasn't in it, so that's a blessing. And
Yeah,
so I was
totally.
trying. I love irony, and so I literally got it done. And then when I went to Japan, I was literally like, please, dear God, tell me this means blessed. I was like 21, and they were like, it means blessed, but it also means like someone's surname, like their last. It's a family name. So I just have like someone's family name on my body. It's fine. We make really good decisions.
Hey, at least they have a funny story to tell now. All right, those are today's headlines. Still to come, one of our favorites, Ryan Reynolds. Stay with us.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go. International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late-breaking news.
All right, it is
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work, or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Welcome back to Pop Start Plus. You know who always makes us smile? Ryan Reynolds. The actor stopped by Studio 1A to talk about life and his latest movie. Check it out.
Ryan, welcome,
Hi,
welcome.
Ryan.
How are
Thank you. It's very nice to be
Well,
here.
we're so happy that you're here. I don't know if you know about this breaking news that happened this morning, but People has crowned it Sexiest Man Alive, and it is Paul Rudd.
Of course it is. I just heard about this morning.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. I think that this opportunity will be wasted on him like so many before him. He's going to play it shy. He's going to play it bashful, humble. If I know what I knew now,
Yes.
I wouldn't do that.
Remember
You got to
2010?
seize this opportunity.
Yeah, when it was remember your moment?
Yeah.
Do you
If
remember
I got
your
it-
reign?
Oh, if I got it now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would leave my family, but they would need to go on without me. I would roam the world clutching my dog-eared People magazine, going from town to town sowing my wild oats like some sort of nude magical gardener.
I mean,
it would be amazing.
Let's hope Paul is listening right now.
I hope he is too. Don't blow this, Rudd. If you're there, do not blow this opportunity. Run like the wind.
You know, you are a heartthrob on TikTok with straight men.
Oh, well, okay.
Apparently, it's like a
That's
whole...
going to get complicated.
It's a
then.
whole thing
Yes.
about how just all men love you.
When when you come on the
This is
screen,
them.
they pause
They
and
pause.
they gawk a little
wow.
bit. This is a whole situation. Did you know
Really?
about this phenomenon?
I need to work on gay men as well.
Yes.
This is just straight men? Why straight? Why? Okay.
Everybody.
Oh, no, yeah.
You
Wow.
wanted you to be sexy for everyone.
Yes.
I guess so, yeah.
We're both very excited about this movie. I had a chance to talk to The Rock a couple of days ago, and he said when you guys were on set together, you never broke. He said he was always this giggling guy, and you were doing what you do.
Well, I was preying on him a little bit. I mean, DJ, I've known him for 20 plus years now, and he gets this little eye twitch when he's about to crack. So does Gall, actually. So I would kind of exploit that and pounce on it. It was more the spirit of competition than anything else. I would crack as well. That's not entirely true. I would crack as well. And when I get the gigs, I don't come back.
It's over.
No, it really is a problem. You sort of have to start to think of like dark thoughts or punch yourself in give yourself a Charlie horse. It's terrible.
The movie is hilarious. I hate action movies, and I loved this movie.
Oh, good.
If you want to blurb that, go right ahead.
Yeah.
No, but I heard that you actually improvised a lot of those lines. Because
Yeah,
your character's like a bottomless pit of one-liners, which is kind of you.
Yeah, that's actually the beautiful thing about Dwayne Johnson is that one of his gifts is that he has an ability to laugh at himself. Yeah. And I also love that as well. That's sort of how I cope. And so we had a lot of fun together. I would always, try to say something that would surprise him or break him or,
But were you surprised, like, a lot of the stuff ended up in the movie in the final cut? Stuff that you probably thought was like...
I was saying, I thought I was just doing it for his benefit.
Yeah.
And then I saw the film, I was like, you kept that in? You could see me about to laugh in the moment. So, yeah, but they did. I guess it worked.
And you were writing sassy lines for Gall, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to write a bunch of one-line that people can either have or not have. It's up to them. So,
right. The action comedy lane, man, is so tailor-made for you. Is that something you feel like you sort of had to create? I mean, for that to come to be?
A little bit,
Yeah.
For Deadpool, certainly.
Yeah.
It was like a lane that I had to sort of, make happen for myself to a certain degree. I love it. I love being physical. I grew up as an athlete. Yeah. I love cracking jokes and having fun. Action comedies are great because they never take themselves too seriously. Yeah. So it's sort of a beautiful genre to play in. Nice little sandbox.
You're also an entrepreneur. You're in the gin business.
I am.
Right?
Very much so.
You are the owner of a football team, what we would call soccer.
Well, yes. In Wales, the Wrexham Red Dragons, yeah.
I mean, the Wall Street Journal did a whole thing on the whole business side of you, which is this other cool side. Is this something like you always wanted to kind of dig into?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So many of these businesses are a lot like show business in the sense that they're built on relationships. They're all relationships. So, you're meeting, you're shaking hands. 90% of the work is the unsexy stuff, not the commercials or the marketing stuff.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff that you do. But I like building things. I love that part of storytelling is really a privilege to do. So.
How's Blake, by the way?
She is great. Kids are great. I'm happy to be home.
Well, we were laughing. I'm sorry. I love your Instagram for a million reasons. And sometimes when I'm in a funk, I'll just go to it. But I loved one of the ones, I think it was Blake's birthday. I can't remember. And the picture that you posted was all you looking all dapper and adorable. And
and they were all sort of like half-blink shots of her, like in the middle of chewing food.
You're an internet troll.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. But only when it comes to those most precious to me. Yeah.
What's it like at home? Because you have 3 girls under 6.
Yeah, 6, 5, and 2.
Yeah.
It's mayhem. You know?
Yes.
It's absolute mayhem. You're just every day clinging by the, skin of your teeth.
What's funny, though, is you actually grew up, it was all boys in your household, plus mom.
Yes.
And now you're in this girl situation.
I'm the youngest of 4 boys.
Yeah.
So, oftentimes, my brothers would never use the door. They'd use me to make a new door. So I was always afraid I would have boys. But now that I have girls, I realize I should not have been afraid. I should have wanted boys as well. They're just as rough.
Yeah, they can be. They can be.
Ryan, thank you so much. This movie's great, by the way. A lot of fun,
It really
too.
is. It's fun.
Red Notice is out in select theaters now and streaming on Netflix on Friday. Coming up, a conversation with the director of High School Musical on working with Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work, or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late-breaking news.
All right,
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go. International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
This isn't about spending going forward. This is about spending that's already happened. Do you accept the idea that we have a crisis at the border? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work, or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Welcome back to Pop Start Plus. High School Musical took the world by storm in 2006 with a charming cast led by Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens and upbeat songs and dances. Well, for our flashback series, we spoke to director Kenny Ortega, who also directed the classics Hocus Pocus and Newsies, and he told us what it was like to create the beloved film.
Get your head in the game. We had a number of actors that weren't necessarily athletes, and dancers who had never necessarily played basketball, and so I brought in a high school basketball team, and I created that team with dancers and basketball players. And out of a workshop, the basketball players became dancers, and the dancers became basketball players.
Get my head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get my head in the game.
And so when you look at that piece, what you're looking at is an ensemble of young men who come from sport, dance, and acting. And I've gone on to do it many times, that you can find that dancer in an individual by finding a different route. You know, I've been directing television for a long time, and not since Hocus Pocus and Newsies had I been a part of a long form or motion picture. And Andy Patman and Ken Greenblatt at Paradigm came to me with this a High School Musical work title in progress. And I read it and I thought, wow, this has been written for me. It was so connected to the spirit of my childhood and growing up. And I just so identified with it immediately, and called Peter Barsacchini, the writer, and the producers, Barry and Bill. We took it to Gary Marsh at the Disney Channel, and he said, I've been waiting for something like this. And just all the pieces came together, and what I'd hoped would sort of turn a light on again for me went beyond my wildest hopes in what it has given me over these 15 years, the opportunities that I've once again had to direct long form and to reach an audience to something that I love so much. I took great care in the casting of High School Musical, not even knowing that we would go beyond just one movie. I had no idea, none of us did. It was never even in a conversation. But I wanted this to be special, as I said. I wanted it, I wanted it to stand the test of time. I wanted people to say, wow, look what this guy does. And we saw hundreds of kids. And Disney was so supportive of taking time. And Zach didn't show up right away. In fact, Zach was even considering that if he didn't get a call back, he and his mom had decided he wasn't even going to go out for any more auditioning until he finished school. And Corbin Bleu, for example, was in a project in Hawaii, and he wasn't available to get into town, and I waited for him. I wouldn't decide until I saw every last kid that was available and interested. And it was more like auditioning for a Broadway musical, where you know that that this cast has to have the strength to last. And so it was just, to this day, still one of the most remarkable groups of people. The chemistry that they had with each other, the partnership that they offered me, what they brought to each day as young artists and enthusiasts. I will forever be grateful for it and remember it with all of my heart. I wanted this to be special, but I was working with a time limit. I was working with a small budget, and I was working with young people, all that could only work a certain amount of hours a day. So I created an atmosphere, an environment that my hope was to make everyone feel safe and to share in my ambitions and my enthusiasm. And it was kind of like a factory. I mean, we were doing 5 things all at the same time in order to kind of accomplish the big goals. And everyone had a blast doing it, and it's become the way that I set up everything now. I mean, it was the first time that I sort of approached my work in that capacity, and now, we have this similar workshop in everything that I do.
I know that something has changed. Never felt this way, and right here tonight, this could be the start.
Zach and Vanessa, they just had this connection off camera that they were able to bring onto the screen. That was deep and honest and real and beautiful, and who, it was kind of hard to not connect with it. They did such a beautiful job, as everyone in High School Musical did, with what they had to work with, that's Love Story. It really is about the chemistry. It really is about, to be able to sustain that. And every moment of it is real. Every moment of it is true. I mean, there was giggles, and when do we get the kiss? It was beautiful to watch. It was beautiful to watch.
We're all in this together.
The other, I think, was the finale. One of my most favorite moments of High School Musical, the first one, was we were in this gymnasium and we're all in this together. And these kids were singing, we're all in this together, and the cameras were rolling, and I was sitting in my chair, and I looked into the room and I thought, these kids better get ready for their lives to change, because something mighty is happening here. And it hit me at that moment. I was able to step back out of being the director and accomplishing all of my ambitions, and to sit back for a moment and recognize what we had accomplished. And I believed that there was something there that was going to be special, and that was going to have a reach. And here we are. It still does, and it still is. You know, we did concerts in Latin America in stadiums. You know, 73,000 people a night at the largest soccer stadium in Argentina, all over the world. And the messages that I got back were, you know, that thank you for the soundtrack of my childhood, and that High School Musical gave me permission to really pursue my dreams. It gave me the permission and the courage to, and I've met people since then that are now parents that have said to me, you know, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish in life, and I live a happy life, and that little movie had so much to do with setting that fire. I think what the movie says about growing up is that we learn so much from what surrounds us, the voices, you know, that are coming to us and getting into our heads. And they can be inspirational, but they can also instill fear. And they can have us questioning, you know, instinctive things that live inside of us, choices that we would otherwise make. We have a right to become our own person, and that we should be, you know, guided and lovingly directed and fostered and supported, but also be given a chance to hear our own voice and to follow our own pursuits, and for that to be supported. My father did that for me. Society didn't. I had no heroes on TV. And in school and everywhere that I turned, very rarely did I feel anybody that was supporting my dream, which they thought was a fantasy. They thought I was out of my mind. I think that this is about, you know, listening to that voice inside of you, not falling pressure, you know, and being courageous enough to follow your, you know, to go for your goals and follow your dreams. And I love that. That's who I am. And that's what I loved about the project. And I wanted to share that. I wanted something out there for young people, you know, that was not just singing and dancing, but that have rivers of themes that ran through it that could say, you know, you can become more than what you're being told you can become. You know, my grandmother used to cook, and she cooked with love. Every ingredient, you know, came out of her garden that she planted and nourished and watered, and she cooked with love. And I think that had a lot to do with why the food tasted as good as it did. You know, music, songs, compositions, symphonies that are written with passion and love. There was so much love surrounding this project. And I think that that's in part why we do enjoy it and why we have fallen in love with it, is that it's made out of that same love that we feel for it.
As they say, we're all in this together. Up next, we're dipping into our vault to wish a happy birthday to Tracy Morgan. Stay with us.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends of today in a whole new way.
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, you know, right?
Yeah, 5 seconds. 4, 3.
There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the hand delivered system.
All right, it just needs
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go. International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
We're back. It's always fun when Tracy Morgan drops by today, and since this is his 53rd birthday, we're going to revisit his appearance back in 2008 while he was shooting 30 Rock. Take a look at today's From the Vault.
I don't know. You're pretty funny, Tracy.
Yeah, but not this early in the morning.
Oh, stop
You're
it.
not a morning person?
Yeah, no, I'm a late night entertainer, so most of my career has been spent late night, Saturday Night Live, and all those other shows, and so now I'm getting a chance to tap a new market in prime time and being funny early in the day. It's hard to be funny when the sun is still up.
Yes, when the sun is still up.
Because I'm just a dark comedian, I guess.
But you have to get up early anyway for this schedule. You guys work like 16-hour days, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
we're doing Lipstick Jungle later on today, but we got like, what, 4 lines?
But the thing is, we don't have an audience, so I don't have, it's just us.
Yeah.
So I guess we're delirious in the morning.
Are you? You've had a lot of great guest stars on, and I know who's
Fortunately.
been on. You had Oprah was on recently.
And Jennifer
Oprah,
Aniston's
yeah.
coming
How
on.
was it
My
with
new
Oprah?
girlfriend,
Oh,
yeah.
is she? How was that?
Yeah,
How'd that
there's
go?
a thing going on
Stepman
there.
is out. It's me and Oprah.
Really?
That's my
Just like
baby
that?
right there. Look. That's my baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Love you.
Does Stedman know?
Stepman don't got nothing to do with it.
A big happy birthday to Tracy Morgan. Coming up tomorrow, a special Throwback Thursday from the vault. Leonardo DiCaprio, we're looking at you. That does it for Pop Start Plus. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Welcome. This is midweek edition of Today in 30. It's our favorite streaming channel, Today All Day.
And we got a packed half hour for you ahead, starting with the investigation into that crowd surge at the Astro World Music Festival. We're going to bring you the latest details about the chaos that unfolded. We've got a live report from Houston.
And then the NFL has fined the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers for breaking the league's COVID rules. The quarterback is speaking out again about the misleading answer on his vaccination status. We'll let you know what he has to say and if his team will play this weekend with or without their biggest star.
Plus, come on, Hoda, we're going for a sleigh
We
ride,
are?
ringing in the holiday season with the performance from our friends at Radio City Rockettes.
Love that. And what would a Wednesday be without Trends Day?
Trends Day.
Anyway, it's time for
Today in 30. The investigation into that deadly crowd surge at the Astro World Music Festival is moving forward, and we're learning now chilling new details about the chaos that unfolded. NBC's Morgan Chesky is on the story again for us in Houston. Hi, Morgan. Good morning.
Yeah, Savannah, good morning. And we're hearing about a communication breakdown between firefighters and concert organizers. Houston's fire chief admitting there was no communication during the event between his department and festival organizers. And we're hearing one story after another from paramedics trying to save one life after another.
Being in this crowd is literally a life threat. That was apparent.
This morning, a frightening new glimpse into the Astro World tragedy. EMT Remington Richardson detailing how he tried to save an unconscious girl caught in the crowd as a sea of other fans begged for help.
I did my absolute damnedest to provide the best care I could.
The music so loud, he says, radio calls for backup went unheard. The chief of the Houston Fire Department also admitting to CNN a glaring lack of communication with concert organizers during the event.
No, we didn't have, on scene, we did not have direct communications with those organizers, no.
Concert organizers had 2 security plans in place, but did not respond to NBC's request for comment. The fire chief also telling Savannah rapper Travis Scott bears some responsibility.
Do you believe the performer, Travis Scott, should have called an end to the concert once he saw what was taking place in front of the stage?
Look, absolutely. Look, we all have a responsibility.
Now, 5 days later, some victims still fighting to stay alive, like 9-year-old Ezra Blunt, who fell into the crowd when his dad passed out.
He's now in a medically induced coma with severe brain damage, severe kidney damage, and severe liver damage, fighting for his little life.
Darius Williams, hired as event staff the day before the concert, quit before the show began because he says he felt they were undertrained.
So I don't feel like safety was really taken into consideration for the staff nor the attendees of the festival.
But Scott has had problems at his concerts before. At a 2017 concert in New York City, Kyle Green says he was pushed from a 3rd-floor balcony during Scott's show, leaving him partially paralyzed. Green sued, alleging Scott incited mayhem and chaos through his conduct. In court papers, Scott has denied the allegations. That lawsuit is still ongoing. This morning, sources close to Travis Scott tell NBC News that after performing on stage at Astroworld on Friday, Scott went to Drake's after-party at a Dave & Buster's, and that Scott was unaware of the tragedy that happened at the stadium at the time.
And right now, NBC News tracking more than 30 lawsuits that have already been filed against either Scott or Live Nation, the festival organizer. There is also a petition circulating asking that Scott be removed from the popular Coachella Music Festival set for later in April. We'll send it back to you.
Morgan Chesky, thank you. Well, now to the new fallout from NFL star Aaron Rodgers' positive COVID test and his admission that he is unvaccinated.
Overnight, the league hitting the quarterback and the Green Bay Packers, his team, with fines for breaking the league's COVID rules. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has been following this one. Hey, Steph.
Good morning, guys. That investigation's over for now. The NFL says the fines for the Packers, Rodgers, and teammate Alan Lazard stem from violations, including a highly publicized Halloween party that both unvaccinated teammates attended, while also citing multiple instances when the Packers did not enforce protocols.
Overnight, the NFL fining the Green Bay Packers and star quarterback Aaron Rodgers for violating the league's COVID rules, hitting the franchise with a $300,000 penalty, and docking Rodgers and teammate Alan Lazard $14,650 each. The discipline stemming partly from this Halloween party that both unvaccinated players attended. The league adding the team failed to enforce protocols in a few instances, including Rodgers not wearing a mask during press conferences. Days after a polarizing appearance on the Pat McAfee show, Rodgers struck a different tone Tuesday afternoon, but it wasn't exactly an apologetic one.
I misled some people about my status, which I take full responsibility of, those comments. But in the end, I have to stay true to who I am.
After testing positive for COVID, Rodgers' NFL-mandated 10-day quarantine ends on Saturday, just in time for Sunday's game.
I'm an athlete. I'm not an activist.
When Rodgers was asked about his vaccination status in August, the Packers star said he was immunized.
Are you vaccinated, and what's your stance on vaccinations?
Yeah, I've been immunized.
After testing positive and admitting he was unvaccinated, Rodgers still defended his answer last Friday.
It wasn't some sort of ruse or lie. It was the truth.
Without any specifics, the NFL MVP maintained he followed an immunization plan that did not include vaccinations. But health experts in the CDC are emphatic. There is no proven immunization process against COVID-19 other than surviving the virus itself or getting one of the approved vaccines. Wisconsin-based healthcare company Previa announced it was ending its sponsorship with the Green Bay Packers star, while State Farm Insurance said it would be sticking by him, writing in part, "We don't support some of the statements that he has made, but we respect his right to have his own personal point of view." On Tuesday, Rodgers expressed sympathy to those who have struggled with COVID, but laughed off the suggestion his NFL legacy has been tarnished.
You're probably never going to win an MVP again. That's probably never going to happen, right?
I think that's a legitimate statement.
So, Steph, that $15,000 fine that levied against Aaron Rodgers, someone's done the math, somewhere between $35, considering the size of his contract. Not a
$134 million.
Right. Any further penalties, perhaps?
Well, that's what the NFL says. If there are any further infractions, there could be. That could be something like a suspension when it comes to Rodgers for the team. That could include losing a draft pick. That happened, actually, to the Saints. They lost a draft pick and faced hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fines.
Wow. Right. Thank you, Stephanie.
How about a boost?
You got one. Here we go. So a mom in Washington, D.C. had a creative idea when her son first started going to daycare, and now it has the whole internet feeling a little bit weepy. So Tisa Sinclair recorded that happy moment each day when she picked up Jackson after work. For his 5th birthday, she strung together all of those joyful reunions.
Hey,
Jax.
You just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me.
Jack.
Yeah, you got a friend in me.
It's okay. Oh, Tisa said she missed her son terribly when she returned to work, but the first time she picked him up, saw that smile, she knew everything was going to be fine. Now, guys, Jackson is in pre-K.
Wow.
His mom says he still runs right into her arms, gives her that smile when he's all done.
That never gets old.
Look at that. Oh, my gosh. Beautiful.
God.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts. Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Really, a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, you know, right? 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news. 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the mayor of elections.
All right, it just me too.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
It is time, the best time here at Rockefeller Center. Christmas tree arrives this weekend. And as of last night, the long-awaited return of the Christmas Spectacular starring the Radio City Rockettes.
Last year marked the first time in 87 years the production was canceled, but now it's back, and it's better than ever, we're told. Mindy Moeller, in her 9th season as a Rockette, serves as an assistant dance captain. Welcome back, Mindy Moeller.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, we're so happy to be here, and the amount of gratitude we feel to be back doing what we love, it's really indescribable. We love the Christmas Spectacular so much because it brings people together. We get to be a part of people's holiday traditions, and so we're so happy to be back and through January 2nd.
How was it taking the stage last night?
Oh my gosh, it was unreal. The energy in Radio City is unlike any other place. It's a one-of-a-kind show you really can't find anywhere else.
All right, you got some new stuff this year too?
Yeah.
We do. We pulled out all the stops to make it extra spectacular this year.
All right, are you going to show us a little bit of the show?
We are. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right.
Take it away.
Thank you.
Now the holidays can begin.
Ready.
And we were just saying we're so happy the weather's so nice because usually the Rockettes are out here and it's like 20 below.
Yeah. Well, by the way, the Christmas Spectacular over at Radio City, it runs through January 2nd. Get your tickets. Our family got ours. We're ready. We'll be there.
Such a fun show.
Fun.
Stick around because there is much more coming up on Today in 30.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Go!
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go! International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late-breaking news.
All right,
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
We are smack dab in the middle of Family Fun Week. Chanel's brother Nando sitting in with us. And just so happens family is one of the major themes of the hit show, Hentified.
America Ferrera serves as executive producer and a director.
And Carrie Martin Latchney plays Anna, one of three cousins trying to save their grandfather's taco shop from gentrification. This season, Anna kicks it up a notch when she confronts the woman buying the shop. Look at this.
Do you have maybe a GoFundMe account? I'm happy to repost to my Instagram.
Great, great. Can you repost how you're also putting profit over people?
Like a whole carrot?
Yeah. I told you, I'm a quarter Mexican. I am not white.
Where?
Okay, look, I have to have you out by the end of the month. But Anna, love, I am happy to have you still do the mural for me. I know that you could really use the money.
Thanks, but you can't afford me.
Okay.
It's so funny. So good. You know it's good when you're watching the clip and like talking about it, getting into it. Thank you guys for coming in this morning. So America, it's so interesting because a lot of people don't realize, or maybe they do, you've been with this show since 2016. It was a web series. Mm-hmm. And now to see it evolve, second season, hit on Netflix. What is that like?
Oh, it's so awesome. I mean, this show is a dream project for me as an executive producer and as a fan. I mean, the show is about family. It's about multi-generations of this Latino family in Boyle Heights. And I just love the Morales family and I love our cast. And, to get to be there from the first ideas as a digital series to getting to the point where we were looking for our cousins and casting them. That's and, cool. Carrie walks in the room and we're like, oh, that's our girl. And actually didn't find out till after we cast her that she too is Honduran American. Yeah. This may be the most Honduran Americans you've had on the Today Show.
I think that's a safe bet. At the same time.
At the same time.
It's Honduran American Day on the Today Show. Yeah.
And Carrie, this show so focuses on the Latinx family experience. And you say, in a sense, doing this show is almost like being a fly on the wall in your own family.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that about this show. And it's truly because the adults on the show speak Spanish and the children speak English.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go. International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There is some late-breaking news.
All right,
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition. People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. There's more good people than bad people, you know, right? Yeah, 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the banner with everything.
All right, anticipate.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
The Michelle Collins Show. Michelle, you are the funniest, and we're so happy you're here.
We're just happy that you're here. Okay, our first topic is we haven't watched this group of the Real Housewives.
Why is that?
I don't know, because
Do you
we are
love
busy.
it?
But do you
The
love
Real Housewives
is this the
of
Salt Lake City? This is hot.
This is the twist. I'm never busy. Here's the twist, listener, watcher. I'm never busy. Hoda's laugh, by the way, is my religion. Just so you know, when you wonder what I worship at night, it's Hoda's laughter.
Me too.
It just fills me with happiness and joy in a way. Jen Shaw from the Houses of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Got arrested.
What?
Did you not know about
No,
it?
I thought that was Erica Girardi.
No.
Everyone's getting arrested, Jenna. Jenna, we're about to get arrested.
Okay.
Follow along.
Okay. I'm about to get arrested for talking.
Okay.
No, Erica wasn't arrested. Erica is just hiding something. Where's my camera?
Yeah.
But Jen was actually arrested, and they sent, they kept saying the SWAT team after her on the show. They were going on vacation in Vail. This happened Sunday.
Yeah.
And then she goes, oh, my husband's in the hospital, likely story, runs away, and then the SWAT team comes to her to arrest her.
Wait. This is not the Real Housewives. They don't get arrested by a SWAT team.
I know. Hoda, I'm sweating thinking about it. It is the Real Housewives.
Is it really good?
Listen, Andy Cohen said the coming episode this Sunday,
Yeah.
this is not Bravo Synergy, I love the show, is one of the top 5 Housewives episodes of all time.
Top 5. It cannot beat when Teresa knocked over that table.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
and also Scary Island on New York, top episode. But Jenna, listen to me. I know you have a family and a bustling life, and we're the same exact age. Please watch it Sunday and text me.
Okay,
You're going to thank me, I promise.
Let's watch it together.
By the way, I love this. I'm kind of in now. I'm in.
You got
sticking
makeup
out.
on your-
I told you.
She got
I
makeup
can't
on
wear
it.
a turtleneck or anything white.
She got makeup.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll buy it.
There's an album release.
Taylor Swift has an album out again. It's an old album that's coming back again, right?
She never stops releasing things. Taylor Swift cannot stop releasing things, and I say fantastic. Write her all the checks.
Right. It's Red,
So
right?
what is
That's
she?
a good one. Red. That's a good
And
one.
I heard there's like a really, really long song.
There is the director's cut of her song.
Yeah.
It is called All Too Well.
All Too Well.
How long is it?
It is 10 minutes of your time, Jenna Bush Hager, 10 minutes.
Don't you like
I
just
can
saying
take
Jenna
it.
Bush Hager?
I do.
Why do you like it?
Why do I like saying it?
Yeah.
You know why, Hoda? Because I've never met Jenna, and for me the twist was that you're so tall. You're like Mariah Carey, where you think she's going to be short and then she's tall.
Oh, how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
See?
Okay,
How
I'm
tall are you?
5'8".
Yeah,
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
You're 1 inch taller than me?
Why are you always competitive?
No,
This
you
has become-
just said that you're jealous of Michelle's love for me.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
But I'm just letting you know I'm an inch taller.
Listen, I'm just trying to bond with the new girl, Hoda. You and I know each other. Jenna has no idea who the hell I am.
No, that's not true. I'm a fan of yours.
She's a fan?
I find you very funny.
Stop.
I used to watch you when you were on our competition show called The View.
Okay, this is a twist even I wasn't expecting. Jenna, you watch The View? Talk to me.
Not every
Are we on the
day.
air?
No, since you've left, I don't watch it as much.
No, you're joking.
All right. No, I'm serious.
Okay, this is family now. I just want everyone watching to know this is a new situation. Okay,
wait.
Taylor Swift making more money.
Wait, sexiest man alive. This is a huge announcement today. Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd.
Wait, what? Tell us.
He's
What do you?
ageless.
He's 77 years old. He does not age, ladies. He looks, first of all, this cover, I never knew that Paul Rudd was hiding muscle meat in his sleeves.
Muscle
in the way. Have you seen the muscle meat? He's
Wait, what?
out of
No,
this cover?
he does? Wait.
Where?
On the
Where
cover.
can you
Wait,
see
wait,
it?
Well, we'll see. Maybe
Do you
it'll come
see
up.
meat there?
But
Here
somewhere.
I see no
wait.
meat.
Oh,
Meatless.
I
Look,
see.
where's that? Where did that come from?
It's so he's sitting back flexing, and there's a big
Don't you
gun.
think that's kind of like,
There's a
can you
big
imagine that
gun.
photo shoot where they're like, put your arm here and flex it?
I
Flex
certainly
it.
can.
Did you watch him in Clueless?
Yeah, and guess what?
We're the same age.
We're the same age.
Remember, we were like in 8th grade when that movie came out.
Do I remember? Barely. But I'll say this. I do remember because it was the only movie where I was like, I think they're step siblings, but I'm still into it. I think they're step siblings.
That and Flowers in the Attic.
Yes. 40. I'm gonna kill her. Arsenic donuts for breakfast, anybody?
Yes.
Come on, Jenna.
I loved it.
Jenna Bush-Hager. Hoda's really mad now.
Sorry. Michelle, you can come back any time.
I'm gonna kill her. I'm moving into the studio. I'll be your Phantom of the Opera. What do you want me to do? Sing anything. I'm in.
Catch Michelle, the Michelle Collins Show. It's on Radio Andy channel on Sirius XM.
She's
we
the
love
best.
you.
She's the best.
I'm 7,000 degrees. I love you both.
Okay.
Thank you.
You just did your first Wednesday back in Studio 1A for the first time since the pandemic. How'd it feel?
Can I be honest? When it started, I was like, oh, I'm very anxious because it's been so long since I've been maskless with Hoda. It was heaven on earth. I had the best time. Hoda and Jenna, what can I say? There's a reason they're here because they're the best in the biz and they're so friendly and so funny. I adore them.
And you gained a new BFF.
Okay, like Jenna Bush-Hager and I, am I babysitting your kids? What's happening? I feel like, you know when you just become friends with someone, I'm like, oh, she's real and she's funny and I'm obsessed.
You knew that about Hoda, and now you know that about Jenna.
I felt like Hoda felt left out. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, Hoda, I'm so sorry. You already know who I am. I have to make a good impression here, but she was fabulous. And also The View, that was nice of her to say that.
Yeah, that was.
You know, you know that I'm like loyal. I'm like Dorinda. I'm loyal. That's it.
All right, we hope that you're back with us for another great morning on today. Our friend Jen is catching up with country music legend Willie Nelson.
Oh, that's amazing. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
From Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
Hey guys, welcome to Today.
Nice to have you with us.
You talk about some energy. This is a lively bunch.
Are you guys ready to turn this baby pink? 3, 2, 1, go!
Tears, smiles, laughter, and hope. A big inspiring crowd helps us mark International Day of the Girl. What's your message to girls who want to make a difference in their own community?
Believe in yourself. Believe in your voice.
Do you think we're kind of on the tail end of this horrible virus?
We have definitely turned a corner.
I looked at her. We were just so deeply in love.
Have a little catch up with our pal, Dylan Dreyer.
Oh, wow. Steve Kornacki here in the studio.
Hello.
Hi, all there, everybody. How you doing today?
Gwyneth.
That's me.
I had to do it because Hoda asked.
I'm so honored.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Making of Today. Yes.
This is how it's done?
This is how it's done. It's the show that gives you an inside look at how today comes together.
I am so excited that you invited me here because we're going to take our viewers behind the scenes for an exclusive look at everything that goes into producing this show every single day. It's a lot.
Yes.
Now, as we all know, Halloween around here is huge. Big, big deal. This year was no exception. This time around, I'd say that our costumes were The touchdown.
I see what you did there.
Wait, let me get my game face on. Take a look.
Go, Cowboys, go!
What's up? How was that?
How can your mouth move like that?
Behind the scenes fun fact, we have to have stock footage of a pretend football game, and we're just mesmerized by the 3 plays that are running in an endless loop over and over.
Only problem is we blocked Chanel's face. Thank you.
Is that good? Woo!
And down 1. How many lunges do you have to do to look the way you do?
We feel great.
Feeling really good. Feeling like a cheerleader.
Go Cowboys! Time to crank up the sound.
I just want to say one thing. There are not enough Spanx in the world for this.
Oh my God. Yes!
Oh, wow, this does look real.
Giselle, I'll see you later, honey.
Gronk says game time. Let's go.
How fitting that Halloween is on the weekend this year.
Major bling.
This is looking pretty good.
So this is my first time even learning what I'm going to do.
Run, 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 run away, baby.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today. The fun is about to begin.
We're ready. I'm like stage mom over here for Savannah and Jen. I'm over on the side. Hoda, I'm like, this is seriously the Today Show prom.
Okay, I wear a size 9.5, 10. These are size 8.5, so I can't feel my feet. Ah.
There's a lot of dancing, strong spike. Feeling good.
It's just so early. So early.
Chanel gets the game ball, deservedly so, every Halloween.
We're basically just doing the warm-up for Chanel. Facts. That's what we do.
Facts.
Excuse me.
Now we have to close the door.
This is how the magic happens. White boots, big hair, can't lose. My name is Brunel. Look at that.
Are you ready for the weekend? Yay, baby.
I would say we tackled that rather well, wouldn't you?
Well, I would indeed. Look, this fun is just getting started. And coming up next, we're going to show you how International Day of the Girl is truly a global production here at Today. So don't go away. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go. International Day of the Girl.
The strength and courage of these women is remarkable.
What's your message to girls who want to make a difference?
Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.
Welcome to Today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Welcome back to Making of Today. So each year, today celebrates International Day of the Girl. And Savannah, I know this is one of your favorite days on the show.
It's a good one. It's a day focused on lifting female voices and bringing girls together from all over the world. And this year, we dedicated a special hour to the girls and women of Afghanistan. Our team worked tirelessly to make this day happen, reporting from Texas, Wisconsin, London, and back to our plaza in New York. And here's a look at how it all came together.
It's International Day of the Girl! Woo!
International Day of the Girl, dedicated to highlighting leading female voices from around the globe. Malala Yousafzai, sisters Jamila and Sharifa, and a young Afghan woman who concealed her identity to protect her family. Behind the scenes, our producers working hard to bring these important interviews to you.
So we're going to get masked up and get to work and show you how we do it. Ready?
First up, Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai. I had the chance to sit down with this incredible woman. Our team checked in from our home base at 30 Rock.
I am working on the Malala interview with Savannah Guthrie. I'm producing the New York side of the interview, and right now we are getting set up in an office, so we're making the office a little studio.
With Malala and our UK staff setting up across the globe.
We've traveled from London to Birmingham, England. We're about to transform this boardroom behind me into our studio for the day.
Our Today team is eager to showcase these important stories, working to get the right shot.
We are trying to do something kind of unique where we're almost going to make them look like they're in the same space.
How did that strike you in those moments?
Savannah, I just could not process what was happening in Afghanistan.
Perfect audio.
To make sure he has the best possible sound, he's brought his own carpet with him.
And lighting.
So Sean likes some of these overhead lights, but not all of them for the interview. So what does he do? He puts this flag up to block them out.
And in Texas, Jenna sat down with a young Afghan woman who risked her life to come to America as the Taliban took over her city.
We are going to be shooting this in silhouette. We have to have the anchor and the interviewee pretty far away from each other. And we also have to keep it so that our guest is in the dark, but Jenna has light. So, Jorge, would you mind switching the monitor so people can see what it looks like on camera? This is Jenna's angle. And now you don't see our guest. Nifty stuff.
Are they scared for their safety?
Yeah, they're jobless. They don't have job now.
And nearby at the George W. Bush Presidential Library, 2 Afghan refugees who arrived in this country just 3 years ago sat down with Jenna and her mom, former First Lady Laura Bush, for a meal.
We have our lovely ladies, Jamila and Sharifa, setting up food that the Bushes are going to eat.
Setting up this morning. Last minute camera checks.
Trying to figure out where everyone is going to sit.
Why should women here care about the women in your country?
Why not?
And then it's lights, camera, action. This International Day of the Girl was certainly one to remember.
It's a little bit of luck, a little bit of magic, and a little bit of working with people who can help you along the way.
It was a really emotional day. We were so fortunate to talk to so many inspiring women. It's one of our most cherished celebrations, I would say, here at the show.
It absolutely is, and we love it. And you know who else is all about girl power? Our good buddy, Jill Martin.
Oh, yeah, she's best girlfriend.
That's right. For the last 12 years, Jill's provided our audience with amazing savings through Steals and Deals.
Yes, and today she's going to let us in on the magic of what it takes to get the deals you love on our show, how we turned our studios into a blast from the past for that hour-long special called Peacock Presents Steals and Deals Throwback Edition, which I just love.
Who knew?
I mean, what a great idea.
That's right. Let's throw back to this. This morning, we've got a special Steals and Deals.
Well, we are back with a very special Steals and Deals. Yeah, back with another round of Steals and Deals this morning.
Wait. So before we get here, let's back it up a bit.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, a little further. Meet Dana, our senior lifestyle and commerce manager.
We normally book our steals and deals about 5 to 6 months in advance. We were looking for a product that, of course, made you feel nostalgic. I love the Kodak Polaroid camera. There was a speaker that we had that reminded me of a lava lamp, which was cool. And of course, the hair scrunchies and all those kinds of things.
Our team requests samples and researches the items. Once we pick something we think you'll love, Dana and I work to snag a great deal. That's 80% off. And throwing it back takes more than finding the right products. Our set designer, Ed, brought the decades to life.
We tried to create a really fun environment to represent all the different eras that are shown in the special. For the Today Show segment, we couldn't create the full set, so we created a nod to that as a tease coming up inside later.
I love the energy of being back in 30 Rock.
Every day I do this, I look down and I normally take a picture, and I think how grateful I am to be here.
I know just the thing to get me in the throwback spirit.
I was thinking this. Does this look retro?
I love that. Oh, you're so sad. That's right on theme.
And just like that, I'm ready to go.
We're heading over towards the studio now.
Once I make it onto the plaza, you never know who you're going to run into.
What was your favorite fashion trend? Because you were in the 70s, you were
a model.
A top model, yeah.
I liked skinny pants, pedal pushers, and then before that was Bermuda shorts. Remember them?
Yeah.
Not a trend. I better go and do my pies.
All right.
All of our Today Show family gets in on the fun.
Carson, does this take you back?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm 2 years old again with lava lamps.
To TRL.
Oh, I thought you went to the 70s. Yeah, totally. Definitely.
You missed that show doing that?
No. This is like TRL for grown-ups. It feels a lot like it.
5,
The public waits.
3.
And as soon as they give the count, we're live.
Oh, good times. Good times.
Yeah,
good
right?
old days.
It does remind me of the good old days, but guess what?
What?
The best days are ahead. Because coming up next, we have an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at how our production team gets the Today Show on the air every morning. Let's just say we think we wake up early. They wake up early. And then we get in on the Hoda and Jenna Tuesday fun.
Ooh.
I love picking their outfits. I vote every week. Do you?
That's what it's about. I wasn't sure if you just chose something else.
No, Tuesday. You'll find out. Stay with us.
It's
a thing.
People really don't know what's going to happen. Nearly a dozen hours after the eye roared ashore. More good people than bad people, I know, right? 5 seconds. 4, 3. There is some late-breaking news 4 hours into the Iowa caucuses by the Hammer delivery.
All right, anticipated too.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Well, over at Hoda and Jenna, Tuesday lets the viewers vote on what the ladies will wear the next day on the show. Now, you don't know this, but I got to be their stylist a few weeks ago. I selected their outfits. And this month, the men of today got involved. Actually, you were involved, even though you don't know what Tuesday is.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of being me. After it's done, I completely forget. I can't wait to see this.
Hi again, Donna here at Today over in Studio 1A, and I am going to show you how we make Tuesday happen each week. And this week, it's all about Carson, Al, and Craig, the men of Today, choosing Hoda and Jenna's outfits. Let's go.
This is the very first time that we are choosing outfits in this way.
Okay, I know, and we're a little nervous about it.
A little bit, yeah.
3 options to choose from for Hoda, and same for Jenna. Which will the viewers choose? Were you excited when you found out that you were gonna dress Hoda and Jenna, or hopefully dress?
I was excited about the prospect of dressing Hoda and Jenna, but I will tell you, I haven't felt as much pressure to get something right, probably since naming my daughter. I don't want to be responsible if they look all jacked up on TV. I don't want the blame.
Why did you choose those outfits for them?
Because I thought they might look jacked up on TV.
So tell me about your process with Tuesday.
It was a tough process. I went into it really wanting to put the ladies in something special. For you people out there, please vote for mine. I didn't win much as a kid. I was a terrible basketball player. I was always chosen last in baseball.
So you chose a denim jumpsuit for both Hoda and Jenna.
So what if they both get voted for? We wear the same
Yes.
We wear the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Yes.
Deborah wears them, and I think they're kind of the moment. And what's great is they can also change oil after the show.
What are your thoughts on the picks so far?
Okay, so Al wants us to be twins, which
I think
might be his own
kind
thing.
of weird. Like, I feel like my mom's not gonna like that, right?
What? Didn't she dress you and Barbara the same night?
That's true.
So what? I think it's a nice throwback. This is the Al.
You know what I'm worried about?
What?
This region.
Well, I feel like it needs a belt.
That's very wrong.
All right, we are outside of the stairwell where Alex has to put on all 6 Tuesday items on this one mannequin that we have. All right, that's it for today. Let's see what happens tomorrow.
Can we have a drum roll, please? So was it the Al, the Craig, or the Carson? Who has more sway with our viewers?
Let's see.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3.
I got the Carson, and you got the Craig.
Okay, so you are wearing the Carson, you are wearing the Craig. Do you like these picks?
I kind of like the Carson. It's cozy. Feel mine. It's really soft. Isn't that soft? And it's like jammies, and I'll wear it again. They'll let us keep it.
And spoiler alert, she did the very next day.
The Carson styled Hoda today?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Carson, thank you. You picked this outfit for me. I appreciate it.
Cashmere.
Congratulations.
Have won.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, I won! Yes!
How do you feel, Al?
Well, I still no. Savannah voted for the owl look.
I did.
You know what Jenna called that, though? The diaper.
Yeah, she called it a jean diaper.
Well, Al, you lost this round to Craig and Carson.
I did.
But you should have a rematch, a fashion rematch.
I would if I cared. Anyway, in the meantime, you know who's working around the clock? Our morning production team.
Are they ever? We have a 24/7 operation here at Today to make sure we do not miss a beat, especially when we're covering breaking news. Our senior broadcast producer, Pete Breen.
Oh, the Breenolator.
Breen Industries. Well, he will show us how they get it done.
Good morning, everybody. It is 4 a.m.
When I get in at 4 a.m., we've got a full show.
So it's 4:30 a.m.
It's 4:42 right now.
So we have some decisions to make. We added a spot about Bannon and the January 6th Commission. But when news breaks overnight, we scramble to report on it.
I'm working with Garrett Hake to do a piece on Steve Bannon and contempt charges in Congress. I'm about to call our producer, Melanie Jackson.
And I just got off the phone with Grace. We're getting launched. So from here, we'll script, we'll go into edit, and we'll have to make air for probably the top of the show, 7 a.m.
It's 5:25 a.m. I just tracked my script in my closet using a bunch of suits for audio dampening, and now it's time to take a shower and get ready for the show.
We've got a whole team that works around the clock, some from the comfort of their living rooms.
Got some monitors, my iPad with the show.
And some from 30 Rock.
I'm headed up to the control room on the 7th floor. We are making some last-minute changes to the rundown, adding some things, moving some stuff around.
By 6 a.m., it's crunch time. We're finalizing our video and scripts for the show.
Guys, good news. Most of our tapes are over, so I'm going to give Pete Breen in the control room an update.
And now it's around 6 o'clock, so we have our stories for Pop Start today. Now it's time to start writing, picking sound bites, and talk to Carson.
6:15 right now. Grace just emailed Miguel about a revision in his script. So I'm just gonna prepare my editor so we can quickly turn this around.
By 6:30, the audience is making their way onto the plaza, and Savannah and Hoda are at the desk.
I have some scripts for the talent, and I'm gonna run them upstairs.
And just like that, we're on the air at 7 a.m.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today. And then they take a brief nap, drool a little bit, and get ready to do it all over again.
That's right. They generally nap during weather. But
we love them.
I don't take it personally.
No.
That's right. Another person who needs a nap, especially during election season, NBC News national political correspondent Steve Kornacki.
If you are a fan of the third hour of Today, and who isn't, you've seen Steve break down the stats on everything. He's gone behind the NFL, and now he's going to show us how it all comes together on the big board in Studio 1A. Take a look.
Hi everybody, deep inside 30 Rock here on a Friday morning. It's a big Friday morning for me because they've asked me to be on the third hour of the Today Show. This is The Office, mine at least, and here we go. I don't know if you ever watched the Tonight Show. Jimmy Fallon came here a few months ago and cleaned it up.
I really, honestly, I don't even know. I have no idea.
I don't know. I probably didn't do a very good job keeping it clean. It's been worse than this, though. We got an NFL hit. We're looking at the NFL playing in London this weekend. We're looking at Super Bowl odds. There was a game last night that probably affected the odds, so a lot to check in on.
So once Steve knows what he wants to talk about, it's my job to make his vision come to life and make those graphics that you see on his big board when he's on our show. So I go back and forth with the artist. Once we have the design where we want it, we'll push them over to Steve and his team to load them up on the board for air.
I actually need to go check in with my producer. His name is Adam. He's making sure right now that everything's ready to go to the boards. Say hello to the camera.
Hello. I loaded the graphics into our little screen. We updated the standings based on the Rams-Seahawks game last night.
The Rams beat the Seahawks. We're gonna go see if the Rams win last night, change the odds. These are the Super Bowl futures odds, so let's see where our good old Rams are. There's the Rams, right? It's a plus 950. That means the odds are 9.5 to 1. So we had them at 10 to 1 on the screen. It's now 9.5 to 1. It's almost the same. At some point in the next hour, I have to get changed too. That's usually a difficult thing for me. So this is not the tie I wanted to wear today. I wanted to wear this one, but it's not really tied, and I don't know how to tie it. And unless Adam, you want to
No
shaking his head, he doesn't want to. So I'm stuck with this one. This is the big time now, and these are the graphics we were showing you in the computer. As you can see, they loaded into the board, and let's see if I tap the screen, do we start getting the other, there we go. That's everything we need. All right, it looks like this segment's gonna work.
We are so excited. NBC News national political correspondent Steve Kornacki here in the studio.
We survived. I hope we survived. Did we pass the test?
Fantastic. It was fantastic.
That is the seal of approval we were looking for, so we'll do it again next time.
Oh, you gotta love Steve Khaki Kornacki. He's the man.
He
All right.
is.
Well, coming up, we're gonna answer some of your questions. Nothing is off limits. Yikes.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go.
We're going to kick off the Pink Power and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What's the best thing about being this age?
You have nothing to prove because you already proved it.
What does it feel like to be in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town.
We all have the honor of helping reopen the doors.
Broadway is back!
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Grab your apron for a new podcast, Cooking Up a Storm with Al Roker.
My forecast, yummy.
Some of the best chefs spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for Thanksgiving.
This is fun. Bringing the heat for the holidays.
Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. So we've given you a glimpse behind the scenes here in Studio 1A, but now a closer look at us.
Don't zoom in too close. We're going to answer questions. Your questions. Fans out on the plaza asked us about our experiences anchoring today, so let's get it started.
Which of the anchors has the best sense of humor?
No. You know what? I would argue, counselor, that it would in fact be one Savannah Guthrie.
No, stop. Yes, you're just saying that because I'm sitting right here.
Like, we know Hoda's a cut up.
Yes.
You know, Carson's kind of crazy. Craig's a curmudgeon. But you have a very wicked sense and under the radar, no weather pun intended, sense of humor that kind of pops out odd times.
Well, I was about to say, the things I say really can't make it onto television,
No, they
can
can.
they? No.
But that does not change the fact that you are pretty funny.
Well, you're going to have to just take his word for it.
What goes on inside the studio during commercial breaks?
We're back after local news. You would not believe how much happens during the commercial break. First of all, we FaceTime our families quite a bit.
Yes, we do. Our crew, busts their butts, do amazing changes within 3 minutes.
People probably think we have this huge studio. We don't. It's basically one big room, and during a commercial, it's like, get the albino elephant out, bring the concert in.
There it is.
Of all the things you've done in your career, what's the biggest dream come true moment?
There have been a million of them, but I did meet Duran Duran, and Simon Le Bon hugged me.
Paper God.
And as a girl that grew up in, the 80s, that was a very pinch yourself kind of moment. And also for Halloween one year, I got to be Olivia Newton-John.
Oh.
And Carson was Danny Zuko from Grease.
That's right.
And we got to do the whole dance routine, and that was pretty fun. What about you?
They've all, just the fact that I'm on the Today Show.
My people!
It's not even a dream come true because I never even thought about being on the Today Show. I was so happy when I got the job at WNBC.
Forget about those suntans.
That I thought my parents can actually turn on the TV and see me.
It's pretty cool.
That was done.
This place actually exceeds all of our wildest dreams.
It does. I hope you had a good time.
We had fun.
Yes, we did. We always have fun. We thank you for watching Making of Today. That's about all the time we have. But if you want more behind-the-scenes access to Today, what's wrong with you? No, only kidding. Sign up for Today Insider. You'll get a weekly email including early access to Steals and Deals.
That's good.
That's right. Oh, that's worth it right there. Giveaways and more. All you have to do is go to today.com/insider.
And get ready because November is going to be a busy month in Studio 1A. So join us next time. Bye-bye.
We have some big news this morning. Y'all are looking good.
Welcome to On the Money Holiday Handbook. I'm Stephanie Rule, here with everything you